Chapter 4068. Yanran swallows, suppressing the fear in her heart. Her line of sight falls on Diming-ju. Then she shows a disappointed and pained expression, choking with sobs. I'm sorry. I mistook you for someone else. You really look like my little brother, Imo. I thought you were him, so I forgot myself. Please don't take it to heart. Muyin, why did she find this scene somewhat familiar? Back then, she mistook Imo-ju for Xiaobao, so she forgot herself and hugged him. Now, the woman in front of her also mistook Imo-ju for someone else. The only difference is that Imo-ju obediently let her hug him, and the woman in front of her almost fell flat on her face after Imo-ju dodged her. Muyin can't help but laugh. Is there something wrong with this little guy, Imo-ju's design? Is he born to be easily mistaken for someone else? Diming-ju looks up. What he sees is the youth's warm smile, as bright as the sun. His eyes flickered, and there was a deep and burning look in his eyes. Yu Yanran's heart thumps when she sees this scene. She glares at Muyin. What are you laughing at? Do you think I'm lying? No, nothing. Muyin says seriously, I just thought of something interesting. Yu Yanran frowns fiercely. Instinctively, she doesn't like this boy who looks like Muyin, especially when she sees Diming-ju looking at her with a passion and gentleness she has never seen before. Damn it, isn't it just a man? How could an emperor monarch like a man? Yu Yanran secretly comforts herself. At this time, Diming-ju has already grabbed Muyin's hand impatiently. Let's go. An annoying woman, an annoying man. So much nonsense. Disturbing his time alone with Yi Liangchun. If they weren't in Tingguang ruins, he would have sent them to Purgatory Pool. Muyin remembers that Imo-ju needs her help, so she quickly follows. Wait a minute. Yu Yanran sees that Diming-ju is about to leave and becomes anxious. But she has seen the Emperor's indifference and decisiveness. This time, he didn't dare to pester the young Emperor anymore. Instead, he revealed a smile that he thought could turn all living things upside down and said to Muyin, I'm sorry, I haven't been to Tingguang ruins for a long time. Everything here is very unfamiliar to me. Can I go with you? Muyin, that won't be necessary, right? Yu Yanran's eyes welled up with tears as she choked. I've been separated from my younger brother, little Imo, for a few years now. Now that I've finally met someone who looks like him, I can't help it. I just wanted to look at him and stay by his side to ease my longing. I'm sorry, I won't disturb you. I just want to stay by your side, quietly. With that, she looks at little Emperor Ming-ju with eyes full of emotion. It was as if she really treated him as her long-lost younger brother. Yu Yanran believed that such a display of sincere affection and unrequited devotion, coupled with her stunning looks, would be enough to make her husband happy. As long as it was a man, it was impossible to refuse. The arch would not. Yi Liangchun was a young man who had just come to the world. Of course, he would fall head over heels for her. Muyin, there were always women who wanted to flirt with her or throw themselves at her. But she was in no position to refuse this strange woman's request. After all, the other person wasn't looking at her, but little Imo-ju. So, she turned her gaze to Imo-ju, waiting for his decision. Chapter 4069. Just then, Bailey Weiron's smiling voice came to his ears. Since this lady wants to follow you, then it shouldn't be a problem for me to go with you. Right? Brother Yi, we've run into each other several times. It's as if it's fate. I really don't want to say goodbye to you so soon. How about we drink to our heart's content after we're done with this little brother's matter? Before he could finish his words, Bailey Weiron felt a prickle on his back. The cold air lingering around him almost froze his body. He looked in shock at the little boy who was holding Yu Liangchun's hand tightly. Such terrifying pressure, such earth-shattering energy fluctuation. Was it coming from his body? Before Bailey Weiron could figure it out, he felt a huge shock wave coming towards him. Then, the surrounding airflow surged and a strong wind blew. He took out a long sword and stabbed it into the ground, barely stabilizing his body. When the storm passed, Bailey Weiron realized that Yi Liangchun and the little boy were nowhere to be seen. Instead, the beautiful woman was lying on the ground in a strange posture. Her meticulously combed hair was blown into a mess by the wind, like a chicken's nest. Her skirt was lifted up, but nothing was revealed. Anyway, it wasn't very elegant. Bailey Waron's eyes deepened. Who was that little boy just now? How could he use such a powerful force in Tianguang ruins? Who was this Yi Liangchun who knew him? Bailey Waron's heart skipped a beat as he thought of the young man's pitch-black, clear eyes. He was really looking forward to meeting Yi Liangchun in the marriage contest. He walked towards the infernal region as he was thinking. But this time, a disguised mask that could blur a person's appearance automatically appeared on his face. He suddenly felt a strange touch under his feet. Bailey Waron realized that he had accidentally stepped on the woman lying on the ground while he was lost in thought. Yu Yanran let out a muffled groan and slowly raised her head, revealing her beautiful face. Bailey Waron curled his lips and said gently, "I'm sorry." Then he lifted his other foot and stepped on her again. He swaggered off. Yu Yanran, "Aha! What the hell was this Qingguang ruins?" There's a blur in front of Mu Yin, and she finds herself back in the infernal domain. However, this time, it was not in the reincarnation square, but in an extremely remote and sparsely populated alley. The body of the little boy in front of him swayed slightly, and his face was a little pale. "Emoju, are you all right? What did you just do?" Deming Ju's ears are flooded with a frenzied beep, beep, beep sound, as if it wants to pierce through his eardrums. He knew that Tianguang Su was warning him not to use power that exceeded the limits of his power. Deming Ju hooks up the corner of his lips, ignoring him. "You made Ben Jun look like this, yet you still want to talk about rules with Ben Jun. Believe it or not, this monarch will tear you apart today." "Xiao Su, I'm not. I didn't design you to look like this." "Aw, bastard, you dare to threaten me? If it wasn't for the fact that you're the first host's lover, I would have immediately reported your whereabouts to Master." "Emoju." Deming Ju raises his head, meeting the youngster's worried expression. His long eyelashes drooped, and he said in a low voice, "I feel a little dizzy." "Then how about I hug you? Where do you want to go? I'll take you there." Muyin always had infinite patience for this little boy who was similar to Deming Ju and Xiao Bao. Chapter 4070. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find this site today. Deming Ju, Ben Jun wants to hug you more. Although he thinks this in his heart, his hand very honestly goes around Mayan's neck. His scorching breath hits Mayan's earlobe. Mu Yan's body trembles, as if an electric current has run through her entire body. A numb feeling welled up in her heart. It's just like when she first met Deming Ju, when he took liberties with her and took advantage of her. Mayan composes herself and looks at the little boy in her arms. She saw him looking back at her innocently with a straight face. Mu Yin, she must be thinking too much. He was just a child. She picked him up. "What do you want me to help you with?" Deming Ju, who is trying his best to take advantage. "Oh no, I haven't thought about it yet." He racked his brains, and finally came up with a reason. "I lack ruined crystals." Mu Yan's footsteps paused, and she couldn't help but frown. "I don't have any ruins crystal right now." In fact, she only had a single ruined crystal with her right now. He was just waiting to go to the dueling arena and increase his reputation. "You're missing a few. If you're really in a hurry, I can—" Deming Ju immediately interrupts her. "No hurry as long as it's within a month or two. That's good." "How much?" Lord Jun, who had no concept of currency at all, thought hard for a moment before giving a number. 100,000 ruined crystals? He was afraid that if he reported too little, he would not be able to reflect his need for the youth. Mu Yin, she only had 50,000 mabe on hand. If he wanted to help Mo Ju and put up a bounty, he would have to increase the exchange rate of mabe to 1, 2. As far as she knew, the highest exchange rate in the entire Tianguang ruins was 1 to 5 for Dugu Tianxia, who was ranked first on the reputation leaderboard. This mission wasn't just any ordinary arduous task. Deming Ju's heart thumps. Too much. Or was it too little? Jun Shang Darren, who has never been a household and has no other currency besides obsidian crystals, says that he really doesn't know anything about this. "No." A smile appeared on Mu Yan's face. "In a month at most, I will definitely gather them." She reached out and squeezed the little boy's face. She was used to pinching Xiao Bao, so she couldn't change it. You don't have to feel embarrassed. Back then, it was your crystals that helped me win the championship of the glorious heavenly light. Now that I'm helping you, it's what I should do, and I'm doing it willingly. Jun Shangdaran, who has been pinched, is completely stupefied. Bastard, bastard, do you know what you're doing? His icy blue eyes were filled with anger. However, her cheeks turned red. He retreats slightly, dodging Mu Yan's hand. Forcing himself to keep a straight face, he says, Ben, I heard rumors that you're going to participate in the selection of the demon race's princess son-in-law. Mu Yan smiled and said, That's not a rumor. I'm really participating in the demon princess's groom selection. In a split second, Di Mingju's heart, that little bit of charm and happiness, is completely burned away by his anger. How can you participate in this bullshit marriage selection? Mu Yan, why can't I participate in the marriage selection? Although she had indeed falsified the information. But Emoju didn't know that. Why was the little guy so angry all of a sudden? Could it be because of the natural hatred that humans have for the demon race? Mu Yan put him down from her arms and took a step back. She smiled and said, I'm a demon from the hidden abyss. Emoju, if you don't like demons, then we shouldn't have too much contact in the future. Chapter 4071. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find this site today. When did I say that? Di Ming was infuriated. Was he an angry euthydemon? Of course not. He was angry that this young man actually wanted to marry a demon princess. What bullshit demon race princess? What was there to marry? Suddenly, Di Mingju's expression stiffens. What right did he have to be angry? Yap Liangshan was a man and a demon. Wasn't it reasonable that he wanted to marry the demon princess? But what was he going to do? It was the first time he liked someone so much. Even if it was a man, he still fell without any struggle. However, Yiliang Chun had never even seen his real face. It was even more impossible for her to fall in love with him. Di Mingju's heart surges with a stabbing pain and a ruthlessness that wants to destroy everything. Emoju, what's wrong with you? Why you look so pale? His wrist was suddenly clamped by a hand that was like an iron clamp. Mu Yan felt her divine soul shake violently, and then she met a pair of eyes that were rolling with scarlet flames. Wait for me to find you. You're not allowed to marry anyone else. Mu Yan's mind was in chaos. By the time she regained her composure, Emoju was nowhere to be seen. What happened just now? Mu Yan looks down at her wrist in shock. There were 5 distinct red marks. It was the hand that had just grabbed him. But these fingerprints clearly belonged to an adult, not a little girl. And just now, mine has an illusion that she seems to be seeing Di Mingju. That expression is very much like the man who kissed her for the first time and declared Junmai in his mind. Emoju, Di Mingju. Is there any connection between the two of them? That's not right. If Emoju was Di Mingju, there's no way she wouldn't recognize him. Mu Yan slightly narrows her eyes, sinking into contemplation. Polar Domain, Divine Wind Palace. Junshan, what did you just say? Elder Chong couldn't believe his ears. You said you want to go to the submerged abyss? Don't tell me you've gone mad instead of amnesia. Di Mingju sends an ice-cold glare over. Elder Chong immediately fell silent. Han Yi and the others also look at each other in dismay, not understanding why Junshan suddenly wants to go to the demon race. Xing Lang asked cautiously, Lord, why do you want to go to the demon race? If those blind dogs of the devil race offend you, we can send troops to suppress them and directly beat them to the ground. Di Mingju. Ben Jun is very invincible and wants to do this. But out of the responsibility of a ruler, he forcibly suppressed this tempting thought. Elder Chong glared at Starwolf. Don't spout nonsense. Rashly starting a war isn't the style of my polar domain. After scolding Starwolf, he looks at Di Mingju again. Junshan, do you want to sneak into the hidden abyss? I'm afraid I'll have to discuss this with Little Nine. It was not as if human spirit cultivators had never ventured into the hidden abyss or gone undercover. Usually, They used the method of concealing their spiritual roots and disguising their demon cores. But Deming Ju is different from others. His aura was simply too strong. Perhaps once he entered the hidden abyss, he would clash with Jun Shitian's aura. The devil race would certainly notice it right away. No matter how strong Deming Ju is, without any spiritual power in the hidden abyss, it would be too dangerous to face a magnificent army of the devil race. Deming Ju, if you want to go to the devil race, I can help you. But you have to promise me one condition. As soon as Elder Chang's voice fell, a familiar voice came from outside. Chapter 4072. Then they see a cute but old-looking teenager swaggering in. It's Han Chujio, whom Elder Chang just mentioned. Han Chujio proudly looks at Deming Ju and says, I can use goo insects and medicines to suppress your aura and ensure that Jun Shitian won't notice you when you enter the boundary of the hidden abyss. In return, you have to promise to take my phantom doppelganger with you. Previously, Han Chujio refined the phantom doppelganger Dan and attached his divine sense to the jade, wanting Deming Ju to take him out to find his treasured apprentice. But later, Deming Ju lost his memory, and the divine firmament palace was in chaos, so he had to give up. Now, when Han Chujio heard that Deming Ju was going to the devil area, he can't wait to take out the jade with his divine sense. Deming Ju reaches out his hand and casually ties it to his waist. He coldly says, 3 days, can you refine the Dan? Han Chujio raises his chin. Who do you think you're talking to? I'm a sacred ancestor medicine king. A mere Dan that hides the aura isn't a piece of cake. Before he can finish his words, he hears the voice of the Imperial Guard outside the room. Jun Shang, the Devil Clan has sent an invitation. His words stunned everyone present. Why did the Devil Clan send an invitation to the Polar Domain? Elder Chang quickly waved his hand to receive the invitation in the guard's hand. When he uses his divine sense to check, he immediately widens his eyes in shock. He can't help but growl. Emozun is really crazy. What's wrong? What happened? What's written on the invitation? Elder Chang looks at Deming Ju, then at the crowd. The expression on his face is indescribable. Emozun has sent out a hero invitation, inviting all the young talents of the Xioshan continent to participate in the princess's matchmaking banquet. Are you kidding me? Isn't there already a matchmaking selection in the hidden abyss? What's going on with this matchmaking banquet? In fact, the name written on the hero invitation is Heavenly Charm Banquet. But anyone with a brain can understand what the purpose of this Heavenly Charm Banquet is. Every family, every sect, and every school can participate as many people as possible. However, they had to be unmarried, have a cultivation at the mysterious immortal realm or above, have handsome appearances, and are of noble birth. The invitation also stated that at the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet, these young talents would be allowed to compete with the outstanding young demons selected from the Demon Clan's marriage selection. The winner would be allowed to enter the core area of the Demon Imperial City and be rewarded handsomely. The only thing that the Honored Demon Lord didn't do was to write the meaning of, I'm looking for a husband for my precious daughter. Come here, all the best quality men, and don't come near me, on the invitation. Looking at this invitation, Han Yi is so angry that he wants to laugh. How many more husbands does the Demon Lord want to choose for his daughter? The Nether Realm wasn't enough, so he came up with a hidden abyss selection. Now, even 2 son-in-laws weren't enough to satisfy him, so he actually sent out hero invitations to the entire Xioshan continent. Does he really think that his daughter is so popular that everyone wants to have her? Will there really be people going to this stupid Heavenly Charm Banquet? Elder Chang stroked his beard and shook his head. He said helplessly, someone will definitely go. Not to mention how tempting it is to safely enter and exit the core area of the Demon Imperial City. Just the reward from the Honored Demon Lord alone, as well as the support of the Demon Clan after becoming the Demon Clan's son-in-law. Most families and sects can't help but be tempted. What's more, there was a prophecy in the Nether Realm. The specifics aren't clear, but the general meaning is that this demon princess can control the situation of the world, and is the person favored by the heavenly Tao. Chapter 4073. This was also the reason why Wuji tried every means possible to exchange his engagement with the Devil Clan with his youngest son, Yuni. However, Elder Chong couldn't help but reveal an expression of amusement. Jun Shirtion is really muddle-headed. This kind of invitation, it's fine if it's used to deceive the various large sects and aristocratic families, but it's actually sent to our Lord. Could it be that he thinks our Lord would care about the position of the Devil Clan's son-in-law? The Star Wolf sneered and said, "What bullshit fiend race princess? I think it's an ugly freak who can't get married and wants to latch onto our Lord. From the beginning to the end, when did the devil race ever express their desire to marry? Wasn't it rejected by our Jun Shang? Do you still want to be slapped in the face?" Han Yi lightly shakes the invitation in his hand. "I'll reply to the rejection letter." Before he could finish his words, Han Ye's hand suddenly becomes empty. He looked over in surprise. She sees Di Ming Ju pinching the invitation with 2 fingers and gently pinching it. Divine power was infused into it, and the invitation emitted a faint blue light as it quickly flew into the distance. Everyone present widened their eyes in surprise. Blue is consent. Enter the divine sense mark. The red color represented rejection, isolating the aura of the demon venerable from the invitation. This was the common understanding between the polar domain, nether domain, and polar domain. It was blue light that was emitted just now. Did that mean that Jun Shang had agreed to the honor demon's invitation? Were they seeing things? Or did Jun Shang send the wrong message? Di Ming Ju expressionlessly says, "Ben Jun has decided to participate in the Heavenly Charm Banquet." Jun Shang. So, in addition to seeing things, they were also hearing things? Han Chujiu anxiously said, "Di Ming Ju, even if you don't need to hide your presence now, you must bring my doppelganger. I still have to find my precious disciple. The heroes of the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet are all gathered here. Maybe there will be news of my disciple." Di Ming Ju ignored Han Chujiu, but he didn't take off the jade on his waist. Han Chujiu knew that he agreed, so she happily went back to his Medicine King Hall. As he leaves the main hall, the corners of Di Ming Ju's mouth lifts up into a cold arc. His eyes seem to be condensed with frost, but also like raging flames. "Aren't you going to marry the demon princess? Then Ben Jun will let you have no one to marry." After Mo Ju left, Mu Yin headed to the demon realm's dueling arena to raise her reputation. Her current prestige was ridiculously low, so the opponents she was matched with were also extremely weak. In just one day, her reputation had risen by a large margin. Currently, the exchange rate of Mabe for ruin coins had reached 500 to 1. All right, there seemed to be nothing to be proud of. When he left the Tianguang ruins, the sky had just brightened. Mu Yin stretched herself and flicked the head of the drooling little chick next to her. This little fellow was a bear, but his luck was even more heaven-defying than little treasures. If it wasn't for the jade key it had obtained from who knows where, how would he have had the opportunity to enter the Tianguang ruins? How could they issue a search notice in the Tianguang ruins? How could he ever reunite with Mo Ju? For the next few days, Mayan directly soaked in Tianguang ruins. The 3 districts of Tianguang ruins each had their own dueling arenas. The 3 dueling arenas were isolated from each other, and each had its own ranking list. Once he chose a district to participate in the duel, they were not allowed to choose another district. Only if they could become the top of the district would they be qualified to challenge another district's dueling arena. And in the center of Tianguang ruins, on the Rebirth Square, there was a ranking list hanging high on the tower all year round. That was the total prestige ranking of the 3 districts. Chapter 4074. Of course, the dueling arena wasn't the only way to earn prestige in Tianguang ruins. Buying and selling elixirs, talismans, formation plates, and magic treasures could all earn prestige. It was just that the dueling arena was the fastest. Time flew. Half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Several other 2-star main cities had also decided their leaders. And Mu Yan's ranking in the dueling arena of the demon area was getting higher and higher. In the beginning, no one noticed the change in the Tianguang list. Originally, it was common for the list of names to rise and fall, and for it to change. When Yi Liangqin's name entered the top 50 for the first time, people finally noticed it. Some people felt that it was familiar and couldn't help but say to their friends, Yi Liangqin? Is it the Yi Liangqin who was in the limelight in Red Star City and even broke the 5 ghosts chilly wind sword formation of the great demon Yue? Ah, I didn't expect that Yi Liangqin would come to the dueling arena to play. He can enter the top 50 in such a short time. Not bad. However, that was all. After all, it had been more than 10 days since the excitement in Red Star City. After that, other cities also had newcomers with outstanding performances. Those who hadn't witnessed the battle with their own eyes wouldn't pay too much attention to a kid who hadn't even grown his hair yet. Secondly, it was because only young people could participate in the matchmaking election, and it had to be a handsome young demon without any women around him. As a result, many powerful high-grade devilish beings were eliminated. Yi Liangqin could shine in a 2-star main city, but it didn't mean that he could be like a fish in water in a 3-star main city or a 4-star main city. And there was no need to mention the dueling arena of Tianguang Ruins, although the level gap was forcibly leveled there. But the pressure and fighting experience of a powerhouse weren't to be trifled with. A young demon could win the matchmaking election, but it didn't mean that he could do well in the dueling arena. Therefore, people quickly put the matter of seeing Yi Liangqin on the Tianguang list at the back of their minds. Until one day, people found that Yi Liangqin's name was rising rapidly on the Tianguang list. 48, 40, 35, 30, 22, 14, 9th. When the demons in the infernal domain noticed this, they were shocked. Yi Liangqin was already ranked 9th on the Tianguang list. That was the heavenly light proclamation that gathered all the experts of the demon race. Among the top 10, which one of them wasn't a prominent figure in a 3-star or 4-star main city? How did Yap Liangqin do it? Is Yap Liangqin really that powerful? Could he really be the one to become the princess's son-in-law? I made a wrong bet before. I'm going to change it now. He's even in the top 10 of the heavenly light list of the demon area. Yi Liangqin must be in the top 10 of the 3-star main cities. Do you think Yi Liangqin's rank will continue to rise? The heavenly light list outside the arena was currently surrounded by people. Hearing this question, everyone looked at each other. It shouldn't be possible, right? Being in the top 10 of the heavenly light list and not being in the top 10 are two completely different concepts. Maybe he can enter the top 2, but it's impossible for him to enter the top 5. Why don't you take a look at who the top 5 are? I have faith in Yap Liangqin. I bet that he can get into the top 5. If you're not convinced, let's bet. Let's bet. How many ruined crystals do you want to bet? Your father will bet twice as much as you. Chapter 4075. I bet that Yi Liangqin will enter the top 5 in a month at most. TSK. With that face that can turn all living things upside down, I'll accept it even if I lose all my ruined crystals. The topic immediately changed to betting and gambling. But no one expected that after that day, Yi Liangqin's ranking did not rise for a long time. The competitions for the 2-star main cities are all over. Ewing nodded with a smile, her eyes staring at the youth in front of her as if she was sizing up a rare treasure. Isn't it all because of you, little Chun-Chun? Because your performance in Crimson Star City was spread, it directly stimulated the participant from the other 2-star main cities. So the competitions in the other main cities were unusually intense, and many demons died on the spot. In the end, the champions of several main cities were decided early. Now that the competitions in the 2-star main cities are all over, we should head to the 3-star main cities. Little Chun-Chun, this is all thanks to you. Muyan's mouth twitched. You demons suffered heavy casualties, and you actually call it credit? And so happy? All right, anyway, it was a good thing to be able to head to the 3-star main cities in advance. She could finally think of a way to leave the hidden abyss and contact Diming Ju. This is the 3-star main city, Nebulous Cloud. Little Chun-Chun, this is the inn I arranged for you to stay in. They chose the best room. Little Chun-Chun, you must have a good rest. Let's strive to achieve good results in the competition 3 days later. Ewing was patiently nagging at the side. She could not help but instruct Night Spirit. You must take good care of little Chun-Chun. If she lacks any food or drink, or if anyone bullies her, inform me immediately. Do you understand? Ewing was no longer jealous of Night Spirit. She directly treated Night Spirit as a little maid to serve the beautiful youth. Night Spirit was not unhappy at being looked down upon like this. Instead, he was very excited, looking like he had a great mission on his shoulders. The two demonesses exchanged contact crystals and whispered to each other. The atmosphere was not harmonious. Mu Yin held her forehead. All right, she really could not understand the demons. Wait, little Chun-Chun, where are you going? Mu Yin, just going for a walk. In fact, she was in a hurry to find a magic core crystal that could detect her magic core. Ewing thought for a moment and said, Little Chun-Chun, you can stroll around the Eastern District as you please, but it's best if you avoid the Western District. Huh? Mu Yan's face revealed a puzzled expression. Ewing said, This Cloud City is a little different from the previous two main cities. It divides the entire main city into two areas. The east side prohibits martial arts, while the west side focuses on legal high-grade goods. On the other hand, martial arts were prohibited in the west, and the things that were sold there were basically all forbidden by humans. It's a bit messy there. Chun-Chun, you're so soft and tender. Big Sis is afraid that you'll be targeted if you go. Got it. Mayan nods. I'll try not to go to the Western District. She didn't have to go to the west side, did she? He was just looking for a magic core testing house. Night Spirit followed hurriedly. Liang Chun, why are we going into a clothing store? Mu Yin glanced at her. Of course, it's to change back into women's clothes and disguise. She did not know if the high-grade magic core crystal would be able to detect her gender and attribute. He had to disguise himself first, just in case. Night Spirit, fuck. I almost fucking forgot that Yu Liang-chun was a girl. Chapter 4076. After changing his clothes, he put on a disguise. When the two of them came out of the inn, they had turned into two ugly, evil women. Of course, this kind of disguise was very basic. All it took was a cleanse spell to erase it. However, Mu Yin was only in disguise temporarily. Of course, she would not put in as much effort as she did when she was pretending to be Yi Liangchen. At the side, Night Spirit would take out a small mirror from time to time, holding it before his eyes to look left and right. He laughed so hard that his gums were showing. Oh my, she had never felt so beautiful before. Yap Liangchun was so skillful. If he had to disguise himself like this every time he went out in the future, would this old lady be afraid of not being able to seduce a man? Dear customers, what can I do for you? As Ewing had said, the eastern part of the Cloud City was very peaceful and harmonious. The local customs and the clothes of the passers-by were more like the spirit cultivators of an ordinary human town, and not like the barbaric demons. For example, the owner of the Monster Core inspection house in front of him was wearing a long Mandarin jacket, with a round face and a kind smile on his face. From the looks of it, it was no different from the shopkeepers of human shops. Mayan inwardly sighs at the multifaceted nature of the demon race, but her mouth says indifferently, I want to test the magic core's grade. Do you have high-level monster cores? As he spoke, he threw out a small bag of mabe. The shopkeeper took the mabe and immediately smiled until his teeth could be seen. His entire person became rounder and kinder. Yes. Our store's magic core crystals are the best in the entire Eastern District. I guarantee that no matter what type of innate magic core you have, it can be tested clearly. Miss, please follow me. Not long after, the two of them were ushered into a small sealed room. The shopkeeper cautiously takes out a purple gold crystal ball from the storage space, along with a wooden tray, and brings it in front of Mu Yin. Miss, please inject your magic into it. The magic device below will automatically analyze the attributes and level of your monster core. Maya nods and presses her hand on the magic core. This time, she carefully controlled her devil chi and only injected a little into the magic core crystal. However, the next moment, with a loud bang, Night Spirit and the boss of the examination room were sent flying. Fragments of the crystal ball were scattered all over the ground. Demonic chi surged in the small room, as if it was about to overturn the entire room. Mu Yin coughed a few times and channeled his divine power to suppress the wave of air. She looked around blankly, and then the headache came. The magic core crystal shattered again. Both Night Spirit and the manager fainted from the shock wave earlier. The heavy wooden tray that contained the magic core crystal, the magic device that the shopkeeper said could detect her attributes, was continuously flashing with a blood-red light. Didn't she just want to test the magic cores? Why was it so difficult? His heart was tired. Mayan can't imagine how she's going to escape after the shopkeeper wakes up and sees this scene. After some thought, Mu Yin picked up the unconscious Night Spirit and threw a huge bag of mabe on the table. He then put away the monster core crystal fragment and silently left the examination room. As for what the shopkeeper would think when he woke up, she couldn't care less. Night Spirit woke up in a daze. The first thing he saw was the blue sky and white clouds, as well as the bustling streets. What was going on? Wasn't she in the examination room, waiting for Yi Liangchen to test the level of the monster core? Night Spirit turned around in a daze and looked at its partner. No golden thigh. So, you blew up another monster core crystal. Chapter 4077. Mu Yin had a rare look of distress on her face. Is the shopkeeper lying to us? Is this really the highest grade of demon core crystals? Night Spirit. Was that the fucking point? Was that it? Shouldn't the point be the innate attribute of her demon core to be able to explode 2 demon core crystals? Suddenly, Night Spirit realized that the background of his little friend, no, golden thigh, seemed to be even more terrifying than he had imagined. Mu Yin frowned, feeling frustrated. Did she have to wait until a 4-star main city to find a higher-grade demon core crystal? How long would that take? Night Spirit wiped his face and said expressionlessly, "Wait for me." She returned after a round and told Mu Yin, "I found an informant in the East District and asked him about demon core crystals." Mu Yin reveals a somewhat astonished expression. Night Spirit chuckled with a smug expression. Snakes and rats have their ways. No matter how prosperous a city is, there will always be hooligans who sell information. I'm best at dealing with these people. This person told me that the demon core crystals in the East District are indeed the highest grade. However, not every type of demon core can be detected. There are some demons with high-level bloodlines, or those with special attributes in their magic cores. The magic core crystals in the examination room are basically unable to distinguish them. Of course, what Night Spirit did not say was, even if the attributes of other people's demon cores could not be detected, the demon core crystal would not explode. If you want to detect the attributes of special demon cores, you can go to the West District. There's an old man at the street corner there with a scarlet gold demon core crystal in his hand. Its grade is much higher than the one in the test house. Mu Yin revealed a grateful expression. Thank you, Night Spirit. Night Spirit scratched his head and chuckled. There's no need to thank me. Don't forget me when you become rich in the future. Mu Yin smiled as well. She did not make any promises, but she remembered all the kindness in her heart. This boorish female demon soldier had once wanted to eat him. Later on, he devoured her demon core instead, and her cultivation realm dropped tremendously. However, she did not bear any grudge. It was all thanks to her that he had her by his side the entire way. Mu Yin thought to herself that it was time for her to try to refine elixirs that demons could consume. At the very least, he had to make up for Night Spirit's lost level. After laughing, Night Spirit could not help but reveal a worried expression. However, Yuing said that it's best that we don't go to the West District. Mu Yin thinks for a moment. Why don't you go back first? I'll go to the Western District alone. No. Night Spirit rejected immediately. I'll go with you. As she spoke, she gripped the communication crystal in her hand tightly. She had already made up her mind that if Yap Liangchen's life was really in danger, She called Ewing over. Even though it might expose the fact that Yu Liangshun was a woman, he couldn't care less. Cloud City, Western District. If the Eastern District was said to be a peaceful, flourishing age, the Western District was a different kind of ghetto filled with blood and violence. There were no shops here, only dilapidated houses and stalls set up everywhere. The stall owner was usually either sleeping or picking his feet. In short, he did not look like a businessman at all. But what surprised Mu Yin was that there were all kinds of things sold here, and there was everything that one could think of. Regardless of whether it was the treasures and pills of the demon race or human spirit cultivators, there were people selling them and people buying them. Mu Yin even saw many products that were banned by humans. For example, the blood flag that was refined from the souls of the dead. Chapter 4078. Due to unknown reasons, this site is suddenly unavailable on Sogu today. Readers, please remember this site's domain name, Book C Pavilion, and find your way home. For example, some array discs for casting forbidden spells, or the broken limbs and internal organs of the ghouls. Mu Yin was dumbfounded and couldn't help but feel an itch in her heart. She hadn't seen some alchemy materials from Diming Ju and Ninth Shifu, but they were here. If she could buy some back, she could try to refine demon elixirs and elixirs above king elixirs. However, she only had 50,000 mabe in total. She still had to issue a reward and give it to Mo Ju. She was really stretched thin. Mu Yin reluctantly looked at the rare materials and continued to walk forward. Night Spirit, who was following beside her, couldn't help but tremble. Because the two of them were in women's clothing, they looked like two young girls. So the moment they entered the West District, countless greedy eyes looked over. A few hours ago, Night Spirit was still happy that she had become beautiful after putting on makeup. Now, she only wished that she could become 100 times uglier. Her forehead was covered in cold sweat as she followed closely beside Mu Yin, peeking in her direction from time to time. Why was Yu Liangshun still so calm? Didn't she feel the naked and terrifying gazes of the people around her? Wasn't she afraid that the two of them wouldn't be able to leave the West District intact? Of course, Mu Yin wasn't afraid. She was already used to being the center of attention. She was used to the fanatical, worshipful, greedy, bloodthirsty, and ruthless gazes. Why would she care about them? It was just a 3-star main city. The strongest demon was only a beginner-level demon lord. What was there to be afraid of? Mu Yin dragged the trembling Night Spirit forward and finally stopped in front of a stall at the corner of the street. An old man with messy hair was sitting there. His hands were folded together, and his head was lowered as he slept soundly. Snoring sounds came from his mouth from time to time. Bam, bam. Mu Yin kicked the chair beside the stall twice. Get up and do business. The old man blew a snot bubble before slowly raising his head. A pair of blood-colored eyes looked at Mu Yin with a bit of confusion and turbidity. The moment he saw Mu Yin, his pupils constricted slightly. A dark light seemed to flash across his eyes. However, it only lasted for an instant before it vanished completely. The old man yawned and said weakly, "I don't have any business here. Let's go. I haven't slept enough." Mu Yin says faintly, "I heard that you can test the grade of magic cores here." The old man raised his eyelids and looked at her a few more times. "Little girl, you want to test the magic cores level?" "My nods." The old man chuckled and said, 10,000 mabe per test." "What? 10,000 mabe? Are you fucking robbing me?" Before Mu Yin could say anything, Night Spirit could not help but exclaim. Her voice was so sharp that it attracted the attention of many people around her. 10,000 mabe. The eyes of these people burned with greed. Night Spirit's face turned pale instantly as it covered its mouth with fear in its eyes. Damn it. What was wrong with her just now? Why did he shout out loud without thinking? Didn't they know that it was a taboo to expose one's wealth in a place like this? At that moment, Night Spirit was truly filled with regret. However, Mu Yin was still very calm as she frowned at the old man. "Isn't 10,000 mabe too expensive?" The old man curled his lips and said with a faint smile, "It's too expensive for others, but not for you. If you don't, I'll just go back to my room to sleep." "Wait a minute." Mu Yin gritted her teeth. I'll test. Chapter 4079. The old man's eyes darkened as he stood up shakily. Follow me in. He then added, You can only be alone. Night Spirit said nervously. No. How can I let you be alone in such a place? She had seen how good Lianshan was with her own eyes. She had disguised her looks, but if she was discovered, the consequences would be. Mu Yin patted her shoulder and smiled. Don't worry, I'm fine. I guarantee that it will be easier to escape alone. She then handed her a dozen talismans. If anyone dares to harm you, burn these talismans and wait for me to come out and support you. There were defensive talismans, offensive talismans, and acceleration talismans. All in all, they would definitely be able to last until Mu Yin finished testing the attributes of the magic core. The refinement of the magic core required special materials and research. However, the drawing of talismans was much simpler. She just needed to replace the spirit energy that was injected into the paper and ink with magic energy. Therefore, Mu Yin drew many talismans during this period of time. Night Spirit's hands were stuffed with a stack of talismans as she watched the girl disappear around the corner with a blank expression. Wait a minute. Wasn't she worried that Lianshan would be bullied? How did it become that she had to wait here obediently for Lianshan to come back and support her? And these talismans, every single one of them, was worth a fortune. A whole stack of them. Where did Lianshan come from? Mu Yin followed the old man and felt that the surroundings were getting more and more desolate. What puzzled her was that along the way, everyone who saw the old man would avoid him. However, she used her divine consciousness to check and found that the old man's magic core was missing a large piece. There was almost no magic energy flowing in his body. He was clearly someone who had been seriously injured and could not recover. His strength was at most equivalent to a first-level golden immortal. But why were the ferocious demons in the West region so afraid of the old man? After walking for about 15 minutes, the old man finally stopped in front of a dilapidated stone house and used his old hands to push open the wooden door. The environment in the West region of glowing Cloud City was different, and the air was filled with a stench. However, compared to the smell in the old man's house, the stench in the West region was extremely fresh. Mu Yin frowns and carefully steps over the rubbish on the ground. The old man, on the other hand, seemed to be used to it. He stepped on the rotten food, making poochie-poochie sounds. It made the whole room stink even more. After rummaging around the bed full of junk for a long time, he finally dug out a black ball. Yes, the black sphere. It was wrapped tightly in mud, completely covering the original luster of the crystal. Mu Yin's whole body stiffens. She didn't even frown when facing a madman from the West District. Now that he was faced with this rancid monster core crystal, he really wanted to turn around and run. One had to know that there was no spiritual energy in the hidden abyss. She could not summon the water element. Even if he wanted to clean it, there was no way. But in order to see Di Mingju, she endured it. Mu Yin takes a deep breath and puts her hand on top of the black sphere. Demonic chi slowly poured into the black ball from his palm. The old man held the black ball in his palm. He could feel the pure demonic energy seeping into his body. The black ball, which was covered by layers of mud, also emitted a reddish-gold light. The old man's gaze fell on Mu Yin, and the light in his eyes flickered like the sun. However, it was only for a moment, and then it slowly dispersed. Chapter 4080. So what if he knew the identity of the girl in front of him was not ordinary? What did this have to do with him, a cripple? Something strange happened at this moment. A loud bang came from his palm. Countless stinky black mud suddenly exploded, covering the old man's head and face. The whole stone house shook violently. The doors and windows creaked horribly, as if it would collapse at any time. And an invisible energy column was emitted from the magic core crystal, shooting straight into the sky. Demon Imperial City. Minwei sat on the left side, his sharp eyes swept from top to bottom, from left to right. Including Jun Shirtian, no one was spared. Being swept by his eyes, except for Jun Shirtian, everyone else avoided with a guilty conscience. A drop of cold sweat rolled down Tiana's forehead. When he had seen enough, Min Wei gritted his teeth and said, "Heavenly Charm Banquet. Good. I didn't know you would hold the Heavenly Charm Banquet as soon as I called. And now you even sent out the invitations. Tell me, whose idea was this? Tianhe, was it you?" "I'm innocent," Tianhe immediately shouted. "It has nothing to do with me, with my brain. How could I think of such a good idea as the Heavenly Charm Banquet?" His voice became softer and softer. Avoiding Min Wei's murderous gaze, he coughed lightly and pointed to Demon Blade. "It was Demon Blade. I heard it from Demon Blade." Demon Blade's face stiffened, and he immediately pushed the blame. "I heard it from the Wine Boy." The Wine Boy's mouth twitched. The Heavenly Charm Banquet was organized by Shueji. Shueji gritted her teeth so hard that a cracking sound could be heard. "Good. You usually act like you're good to me, but your feelings are all fake by me. At this time, you're pushing all the blame to me. Wait until we get out of the Red Demon Palace. See if I don't skin you alive." However, facing Elder Min Wei's sinister gaze, Shueji still swallowed her saliva guiltily and said cautiously, This decision was made by the Demon Lord. I'm only responsible for hosting. Although to be able to hold the Heavenly Charm Banquet, to be able to ruthlessly slap the face of those bastards from the Polar Domain, she was very happy." Min Wei pressed his temple. He really wanted to press these 4 silly demon generals into the hidden abyss and destroy them. He took a deep breath and looked at Jun Shirtian. "Demon Lord, how could you hold the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet without discussing it with your subordinates? Have you ever thought that opening the submerged abyss barrier and letting so many human spirit cultivators in would bring great hidden dangers to the demon race?" Jun Shirtian avoided the gaze of his trusted elder. He coughed softly, trying his best to maintain his aloofness and dignity as a demon lord. Min Wei was exasperated that Yun Che didn't live up to his expectations. He continued, "If you really want to show off your might to the Polar Domain's sovereign lord, you can just invite the Polar Domain's people to attend the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet alone." Of course not." Jun Shirtian coldly interrupts him. "Only inviting people from the Polar Domain. That brat Di Ming Ju still thinks that my demon race is fawning on him. I want to let him see how many people are trying to marry my Jun Shirtian's daughter. Whether it is the demon race or the human race, the Nether Realm or the Polar Realm, they're all waiting in line to marry my daughter. He Di Ming Ju is a fart." Shueji couldn't help but complacently add, "Elder Min Wei, you still don't know, right? The Polar Domain has already replied to the invitation, agreeing to attend the Heavenly Charm Banquet. So what if he's the Emperor of the Polar Domain? He solemnly vowed to refuse to marry our princess, but now he still runs over. Hee. Chapter 4081. Min Wei pressed down on the veins on his forehead again and again, forcing himself to endure. "Endure my ass. How can I endure this bunch of idiots?" Min Wei gritted his teeth and roared, "Lord Demon Lord, please allow me to remind you. You have to have a daughter first before you can show off that there are many people chasing after the princess. Do you know where the princess is now? Can you bring her back and let her appear at the Heavenly Enchantment Banquet?" Jun Shirtian and the 4 demon generals' expressions froze. Damn it. Recently, the marriage selection was too lively and joyous. As a result, they had almost forgotten that Her Royal Highness had not been found yet. Jun Shirtian coughed and was about to speak. But before he could say anything, his expression suddenly changed. He looked into the distance in shock. Then, his figure suddenly disappeared on the spot. Everyone in the palace was startled and disappeared. In the highest palace of the Demon Imperial City, Jun Shirtian looked into the distance. His expression was cold, but his heart was in turmoil. "Demon Lord, did I sense it wrong?" Min Wei appeared beside Jun Shirtian. His face was full of shock. "Just now, I seemed to be in the far west and felt the same demonic aura as you." Jun Shirtian clenched his fists and slowly loosened them. "We didn't sense it wrong. But the Demon Lord is in front of us. He did not release any demonic energy." Jun Shirtian's eyes flashed. "There's only one person in the world who can have the same demonic energy as me. There's only one person who can create such a huge energy fluctuation. Although in the entire hidden abyss, he was probably the only one who could clearly sense it. He and the other three looked at each other in disbelief. Princess. In the world, only the princess's demonic energy fluctuation is similar to the demon lord's. So, the princess is here, in the hidden abyss. When this conclusion came out, even a usually calm Wei's eyes turned red and his hands trembled. The princess was in the hidden abyss. They had been searching for so long, using all kinds of methods, but they could not find the princess. How could she be in the hidden abyss? Wei excitedly paced back and forth on the roof. He could no longer maintain his calm in the Crimson Demon Palace. But his brain was still fine. After the excitement, he began to analyze the situation rationally. Princess, did you happen to pass by the hidden abyss, or are you here to look for the demon venerable? If she happens to pass by, I'm afraid she'll leave immediately. There's a barrier in the hidden abyss. If you want to leave, your demon core has to be tested to be at the level of a demon master. Then, you can use the test results to exchange for a pass. But the princess's demon core is innately similar to the devil lord's, so ordinary demon core crystals won't be able to detect it. If you want to test the level of the princess's monster core, you need to at least have a top-notch monster core crystal. Such a powerful, demonic chi fluctuation is definitely not something that can appear in ordinary combat training. Then it's very likely that the princess wants to test the grade of the monster core. This demonic aura is emitted by a top-grade monster core crystal. At this point, Wei's expression changed drastically. Oh no, the princess might want to leave the hidden abyss. Testing the level of his demon core, proving that he had reached the demon master realm, and obtaining the identity token. If this series of steps was not to leave the hidden abyss, what else could it be? Jun Shitian's face darkened, and he immediately said in a cold voice, Tianhe, pass down my order, seal the boundary of the submerged abyss. Before the end of the enchantment banquet, only people can enter, no one can leave. Chapter 4082. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find this site today. Tianhe bows and kneels. Understood. With that, he immediately turns around and leaves. Shuejiai, listen to my order. Thoroughly investigate all the cities in the north that are above 3 stars. You must find the person for me. Shuejiai's pretty face flushes with excitement. She says excitedly, Demon Senior, rest assured. Even if I have to dig 3 feet in the ground, even if I have to turn over all the cities, this subordinate will definitely find the princess. Great! The princess has arrived. The heavenly charm banquet can be held smoothly. She can finally ruthlessly slap the Polar Domain's group of bastards in the face. Wei reminds. Also check all the 2-star cities, by the way, in case there is a top-notch magic core inside. Shuejiai repeatedly nods. Check. As long as it's a 2-star city or above, she won't even let a female ant go. As for a 1-star city, even Wei hasn't considered it. That place was far too barren, and no high-grade devilish beings would venture there, let alone top-grade devilish cores. Cloud City. In a hut with broken stones and tiles, Mayan and the old man look at each other in dismay. The old man looks at the magic core in his hand that has lost its light. He grits his teeth and says, I knew it. Even 10,000 Mabe is still too little. Although this magic core didn't break like the previous 2, it has lost its golden light. However, it had lost its reddish-gold radiance, and the top was covered in spiderweb-like cracks. Obviously, it can no longer be used. Mine gives a hollow laugh. She turns her head away guiltily, not daring to speak. She only obediently hands over a Chinquan bag of Mabe. Even though she knows nothing about the prices of the demon race, she knows that this top-notch magic core is definitely worth more than 10,000 Mabe. But the problem is that she is poor now. No money. She can't afford it even if she wants to. The only thing worth rejoicing about is that although the magic core was damaged this time, the magic core's level test was successful. The old man takes out a jade slip the size of a fingernail from the tray under the magic core and throws it to her. He snappily says, "You're a rank 5 demon master. Why did you come to a 3-star city like Cloud City and pretend to be a little girl? Scram, scram, take the appraisal result and scram. I don't want to see you for even a second." Muyin sheepishly puts away the jade slip and looks at the stone house that has been broken to the point that it can no longer be lived in. A rare look of embarrassment appeared on his face. "I'll pay for the repair of this house. Did you hear me when I told you to get lost?" The old man grabbed his smelly and dusty shoes and threw them at her. "If you don't get lost, I won't be polite anymore." Muyin jumped in fright and quickly ran out of the house, leaving in a hurry. In his heart, he thought that when he earned some money, he would definitely make up for the old man's losses. Alas, when I tested my spiritual root on the road of cultivation, I didn't break any magical equipment. This devil race's devil artifact was too useless. After 3 tests, 3 magic cores were destroyed. All the mabe he had earned in Blood Flame City had been lost. Speaking of which, the reward of Red Star City seemed to be a superb demonic weapon. Yuing said that she would bring it to him tomorrow. Since the magic tool was useless, he might as well sell it for money. After Mu Yen leaves, the old man blankly stands in the same place, looking at her disappearing back. After a good while, he shows a wry smile and falls on the bed. After a while, he suddenly buries himself in the stinky bed. After rummaging around inside for a while, he finally fishes out another crystal ball. Compared to the dirty magic core just now, this crystal ball is sparkling and translucent, and under the weak light, it exudes a gorgeous luster. Even without using his divine sense to examine it, he can see that this is a rare treasure. Chapter 4083. The old man stared blankly at the crystal ball in his hand for a while before injecting a wisp of demonic chi into it. However, the next moment, his face immediately revealed a painful expression. Holding his head, he fell onto the bed and curled up like a shrimp. The pain lasted for more than 2 hours before it slowly dissipated. Blood flowed out of the old man's eyes, ears, mouth, and nose, making him look extremely wretched and miserable. The old man wiped the blood off his face and couldn't help but laugh softly. That laughter was incomparably sorrowful, with resentment and pain. As he laughed, blood flowed down from the corner of his eyes again. He couldn't go back. He could never return to his former self. After leaving the old man's hut, Mu Yin smelled the stench emitted from her body and felt a headache. There was no spiritual power in the abyss, so she couldn't even use the cleaning spell to clean herself. But she didn't have a second set of female clothes on her. After thinking for a moment, she simply found a secluded corner and changed back into men's clothes. Then, she disguised herself. Just like that, the little girl who was unattractive just a moment ago had turned into a handsome young man who was as elegant as jade. She was Yi Liangshan. After changing her clothes, Mu Yin quickly returned to the place where she separated from Night Spirit. However, before she could approach, she heard a burst of laughter and angry curses. "Get lost. I told you get lost. Did you hear me? Io, is this little girl very hot? A mere demon soldier actually dares to put on airs in front of us. Hee, I heard it just now. You have 10,000 mabe in your hands, right? Hand over the mabe and sleep with me. How about I guarantee that you can leave the West District safely?" Mu Yan's eyes darkened, and she quickly walked forward. She saw a group of people surrounding Night Spirit. Night Spirit held the talisman in his hand, his face full of panic. Don't come over, otherwise I won't be polite." Seeing her pick up the talisman in her hand, the surrounding demons couldn't help but take a few steps back. There was some fear on their faces. But soon, someone sneered, "Come on, you're just a rank 3 demon soldier. How much demonic chi can you have in your body? You've already burned 5 talismans just now, so your demonic chi should be almost used up, right? If you continue to use it, your magic core will be wasted." Hearing this, Mu Yan's face revealed a look of regret and guilt. What was wrong with her? When he gave a talisman to Night Spirit, He did not consider that she was just a small demonic soldier and that she might not have enough demonic chi in her body. Thankfully, he had returned in time. Otherwise, if anything had happened to Night Spirit, she would definitely not forgive him. A wretched-looking man was about to touch Night Spirit's chest. Mayan raises her hand, and the 7 absolute sword appears in her palm. Without hesitation, she swung her sword horizontally. With a blood-curdling scream, the devil's arm was directly chopped off. Night Spirit raised his head and saw the peerlessly handsome young man. His vision blurred for a moment. Today was too dreamy. This was the first time in her life that someone had taken liberties with her. When he was surrounded, he actually felt a trace of joy in his heart. God damn it, there was finally someone who admitted that she, Night Spirit, was a woman and a beauty at that. All of these were given to her by Yap Liangshan. But as the number of people surrounding him increased, he felt a chill run down his spine. Furthermore, the demonic energy in his body had been completely depleted. Night Spirit began to panic. She didn't know what to do. Find Yu Ying to save the day? Would Yu Ying come? In Yu Ying's eyes, he was just a follower of Yi Liangshan, and he was not worth saving at all. Chapter 4084. Due to unknown reasons, this site is suddenly unavailable on Sogu today. Dear readers, please remember this site's domain name and find your way home. Just as Night Spirit was beginning to lose hope, a familiar sharp sword light that could cut down an army flashed. The male demon who wanted to humiliate her had his arm chopped off cleanly and lay on the ground, wailing. As for that incomparably handsome young man, he slowly walked in front of her, shielding her behind him. The young man's cold gaze swept across everyone present, his slightly hoarse voice without a trace of warmth. What do you want to do to my people? Night Spirit. Heart-piercing strike. Her face was flushed red, and her heart was pounding nonstop, almost jumping out of her mouth. Not only was she teased today, she even enjoyed the feeling of a hero saving a beauty. The person who saved her was also so handsome, unparalleled in the world. Her life was truly worth it. Worth my ass. Night Spirit wanted to explode on the spot. Why was such a handsome, cool, and attractive young man a girl dressed as a man? She knew the truth, but her heart was about to be moved. Mu Yin was completely unaware of the series of wails and complaints from her companions behind her. She was currently considering whether to steam, braise, or fry these blind demons in front of her. The demons in the West District were also shocked by this sudden turn of events. When their gazes landed on the young man's face, some of them were immediately infatuated. Damn, this little demon soldier actually has a lover, and this lover is even better looking than her. This was far more than Night Spirit. The young man in front of them was out of place in the entire Cloud City. He had red lips, white teeth, and picturesque features. Even though they knew that he was a man, they couldn't help but want to have a taste and play with him. Furthermore, demons had never had any morals. What did it matter if he was a man or a woman? It was fine as long as the taste was ecstatic. Hee, little brother, if you want us to let your woman go, why don't you accompany us first? That's right. If you're willing to stay and leave with us, we'll give up the 10,000 Mabe and this female demon soldier. Hearing the discussions around her, Mu Yan's lips curled up slowly. The corner of Mayan's mouth slowly hooks up. The smile on her face looks innocent and immature. Hee, you want me to stay and accompany you, sure? Let's see if you have a life to let me accompany you. As soon as he finished speaking, the 7 absolute swords suddenly whistled out. Dense and mellow devil chi pervaded the air, forming a terrifying pressure. Boom, boom, boom. Violent explosions rang out one after another, causing smoke and dust to fly everywhere in the streets of the West District. At the side, Night Spirit was dumbfounded. Demon chi could be used like this? He directly condensed the demonic chi in his body into a ball, released it through sword chi, and then exploded it. That explosion was even more frightening than the Thunder Fireball. But the problem was this method would consume a lot of demonic energy. Why did Yap Liangshan look so relaxed? How much demonic energy did she have in her body? What was the level of her magic core? When the smoke and dust dissipated, Night Spirit could not help but gulp as he looked at the mangled bodies on the ground. Was it all settled just like that? Those were more than 10 ferocious demons, and each of them was at least a level 3 demon guard. After marveling at Yap Liangshan's prowess as usual, Night Spirit immediately happily went to pick up the Chinquan bags and demonic weapons that they dropped. These could all be sold for Mabe. Night Spirit came from a 1-star main city and was used to being thrifty. Moreover, it was the first time he accompanied Mayan to rob, so he exploited her. Therefore, now that Mayan was done with the fight, he habitually began to clean up the battlefield. Chapter 4085. In the corner, a man who was not too seriously injured managed to stand up. Half of his face was blown off by Mu Yan's demonic energy bomb. Now he stared at Mu Yan with his one eye, and the only intact half of his face suddenly showed a shocked expression. You are Yi Liangchun. There's no mistake. You are the Yi Liangchun who broke Yoyue's 5 ghosts in windsword formation in Red Star City. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere around them suddenly changed. The Western District of Cloud City was an extremely cold place. The demons there acted on their own, burning, killing, and looting, but never willing to help others. So when this group of demons was beaten up by Mu Yin just now, the weaker ones had already fled. Even if they lived in a house nearby, they dared not to speak up. Who made the rule of the demon race always be that the weak are prey to the strong, and the strong are respected. As for those with high strength, they either watched the fun from the sidelines or left indifferently. No demon would come to save an unrelated kindred, and no demon would ask for help from an unknown kindred in a time of crisis. However, at this moment, as soon as this man's words came out, the faces of the demons who were watching the fun suddenly changed. Even those demons who had already walked away indifferently suddenly turned around and rushed back. After a short silence, the news in the Western District of Cloud City began to spread explosively. Have you heard? That boy in the limelight in Red Star City came to our Western District? Huh? That evildoer that Tianguang ruins swore with confidence? TSK, shitty evildoer, I have to meet him. I also want to participate in the marriage selection. If I kill him today, I will have one less opponent. Haha. It doesn't matter whether I marry the princess or not. I just want to kill him to make a name for myself. The celebrity who broke Yoyue's 5 ghosts in wind sword formation. I will kill him, and everyone will remember my name in the future. Very quickly, the entire block that Mu Yan was in was densely packed with people. Those standing on the roofs and broken walls were all watching the fun. Those on the ground were all holding weapons, and their faces were full of excitement and fierceness. Night Spirit's face was pale, and her hands and feet were cold. At this moment, she was regretting so much that her intestines had turned green. What was wrong with her just now? Why didn't she drag Yi Liangchun away with her? Why did she go to the battlefield instead? If they had left immediately, Yi Liangchun wouldn't have been recognized. Night Spirit grabbed onto Yi Liangchun's sleeves with trembling hands and stammered, I'll summon Yuing over. Right now, luckily, Yap Liangchun had changed back to his male clothes. Even if he called Yuing over, it would not be exposed. Mayan says unhurriedly, Did you forget that Yuing said that she has an appointment with a young and tender devil, and that she's going to hang around for the whole day? Get her out of bed. She'll skin you alive. Night Spirit's expression froze. She recalled that Yuing had indeed said that. That was why he told him not to go to the chaotic west side. She was not afraid of being skinned alive. However, she was afraid that Yuing would be disappointed and both of them would owe Yap Liangchun a favor. She would ask Yap Liangchun to repay the favor with his body. No, absolutely not. Night Spirit was out of her wits as panic and regret were written all over her face. Mu Yin reached out and rubbed her head, saying warmly, Don't be afraid. Wait at the side obediently. I promise that I'll bring you back to the inn before dinner. Night Spirit, bloody hell. It was yet another heart-piercing, critical strike. Chapter 4086. Yi Liangchun, I'm begging you to stop releasing your charm. I can't take it anymore. Night Spirit retreated to the side with a flushed face and squatted in the corner obediently. Mu Yin looked at the demons that surrounded her and said indifferently, "Are you guys going to come one by one or all at once?" Fufu, as expected of the Crimson Star Dark Horse. "You sure are arrogant. Yiliang-chun, you are indeed capable, but don't be too arrogant. Let's attack together." Fufu, this is all the elites of the West region. Almost all the experts in the city are gathered here. Do you think you can take on an entire city on your own? Mu Yin propped the 7 Absolutes sword in front of her and pressed her hands on it. Her expression was indescribably casual. "So what do you guys want? Don't dawdle. If you want to fight, then fight. If not, then scram. I'm waiting to return to the inn for dinner. Damn it, I can't take it anymore. How dare a brat who hasn't even grown his hair act so arrogantly in my city? Brothers, follow me. Let's cripple his hands first." As they shouted, a group of people charged forward. There were about 7 to 8 of them, and all of them were above rank 5 demon guards. The leader was a rank 9 demon guard. He was also one of the participants in the marriage selection. His name was Lu De. Seeing Lu De charge forward with his lackeys, the others took a step back and observed the situation. It wasn't because they were moral and didn't bully others with numbers. It was because the demons had always been suspicious of each other and were heartless. Demons who were not familiar with each other would stab you in the back when you weren't prepared. Demons who were not familiar with each other would suddenly stab you in the back when you weren't prepared. "Boss, do you think Luda and the rest can defeat Yiliang-chun?" The person who was addressed as boss shook his head. "They're definitely not ordinary people who can break Yu's 5 Ghost Een Windsword formation. However, Luda and his lackeys aren't simple either. Even if they can't win, they can exhaust a lot of Yiliang-chun's demonic chi. However, Luda and his followers are not simple either. Even if they can't win, they can still consume a lot of devil chi from Yiliang-chun. I think this battle will take at least half an hour." Before he could finish, Luda and the rest let out a tragic cry. Before this person could finish speaking, he heard Luda and the others let out miserable screams. Then, a few mutilated bodies were thrown into the crowd. It was either a broken arm or a broken hand. Some even had their stomachs cut open with a large hole. Although none of their monster cores had been destroyed, it was clear that they would not be able to recover from such serious injuries in a short period of time. The man who spoke just now looked at his boss stiffly. His Adam's apple moved up and down as he said with a dry voice, "Boss, how much devil chi do you think Yiliang-chun consumed?" The young man in the middle of the encirclement was still leaning lazily on his sword, his expression unchanged. He even yawned and said in a bored tone, "No one's going up again? I haven't even warmed up, and you're already taking a break?" The faces of the demons alternated between green and white. Mu Yin raises her slender and fair hand and beckons them with her finger. "All right, stop thinking about who will be the vanguard to exhaust my devil chi. With your fighting strength, the rate at which my devil chi is being consumed can't keep up with the speed at which I recover. If you want to attack, then attack together. I'm in a hurry." Was this a humiliation? This was a blatant humiliation. If they could tolerate this, how would they be able to mingle in Dark Cloud City in the future? Everyone attack together. There's no need to cooperate. Today we have to crush this arrogant brat to death. That's right. If we can't kill a little brat with so many experts, how will we have the face to meet people in the future? Kill. Kill. The crowd swarmed forward. Chapter 4087. Due to unknown reasons, we are unable to be found on Sogu today. Dear readers, please remember our domain name, Book Ocean Pavilion, and find your way home. Countless demonic weapons flew around, accompanied by a terrifying pressure and whirlwind blades. Night Spirit, who was hiding at the side, trembled instinctively. She gripped the communication stone tightly in her arms. She would call Ewing over if anything went wrong. Yiliang-chun was very powerful, but how could she be a match for so many people by herself? Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 7 dazzling silver rays shot into the sky and transformed into 7 crystal clear swords. The white-robed youth stood in the air in front of the 7 swords, looking down from above. He used his spiritual will. The 7 swords shattered and turned into starlight that fell. Ah, ouch! What the hell is this? My demonic armor can't block it at all. After a round of sword light, the youth slowly descended from the sky. The starlight gathered back into the 7 swords, and they combined into one, returning to his hand. The crystal-clear sword emitted a dazzling glow under the refraction of the light. Around her, there were a bunch of demons lying on the ground, unable to get up. Only a few peak demon guards were still standing, but their faces were pale and their bodies were wobbling. Mu Yin raised her hand and put away the 7 absolute swords. She revealed an innocent smile on her pale face. See, this saves time and energy. Now can I go? The few standing demon guards' faces were as black as the bottom of a pot, and they did not say a word. As for those on the ground, they were in so much pain that they did not even have the strength to reply. Mu Yin curled her lips and waved at Night Spirit. Let's go back. Night Spirit stumbled over as if she had just woken up from a dream. The next moment, she felt a weight on her shoulder. The youth was leaning on her shoulder. Yiliang-chan, chill. A low voice converged into a sound beam and fell in her ears. I got too carried away earlier and lost control. There's no demonic chi in my body now. Hold me and don't let anyone see through me. Night Spirit, there was no demonic chi in Yiliang-chan's body. The consequences would be unimaginable if someone found out. The cold sweat on his forehead almost rolled down. But very quickly, Night Spirit adjusted his expression, and the two of them left the West District with a composed expression. Night Spirit only heaved a sigh of relief after entering the inn. You scared me to death just now. Patting his chest, Night Spirit wiped the sweat off his forehead and could not help but get excited. Yap Liangshin, what did you do? You single-handedly took care of all the experts in the West District. Ha ha! When I thought of their expressions when we left, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. What's so great about a 3-star main city? Didn't they still get beaten up by you? Who knows? You might really be the one to become the princess's husband in the end. Wait a minute. Night Spirit's expression froze, and he laughed dryly. I was just joking. Well, I'll go back to my room first. Have a good rest. When she walked out of the room, she slapped her mouth a few times. Who asked you to spout nonsense? Yap Liangshan was a woman. It was a woman. It was a woman. You must firmly remember this point. Mu Yin could not help but laugh as she watched Night Spirit escape from the room. She stretched lazily and sat down cross-legged to recover her demonic chi. What she said to Night Spirit earlier on was both true and not true at the same time. It was true that she had lost control of her demonic chi. Chapter 4088. Mu Yin is accustomed to using the Shun musician's skills to replenish her spiritual power at any time and anywhere. Even if she can't replenish her spiritual power, she can still take pills. Plus, her body is full of devil chi and spiritual power, so she never has the concept of saving devil chi. As a result, when the sword was unleashed, it was as powerful as a thunderbolt, instantly killing thousands of miles away. However, when the sword retracted, it found that its demonic energy had been completely depleted, and it could not be replenished in a short period of time. However, just because her demonic aura had been exhausted did not mean that she had lost her fighting strength. She still had divine power in her body. There was no spiritual power in the hidden abyss, but the moon spirit root in her body could generate Xian Qi, spiritual Qi, and immortal Qi on its own, although the quantity was very, very small and could not be used in battle. But it would slowly accumulate and fuse together, transforming into divine power. As long as he had divine power, even if it was just a trace, it would be enough to slaughter the entire western district of Cloud City. However, ever since Mayan entered the hidden abyss, her impression of the demon race was pretty good. She had no interest in slaughtering the entire city. Naturally, he would not initiate a war and let Night Spirit help him out of the West District. This time, the devil chi was completely depleted. It took Mu Yin a whole night to recover. The groom selection in Cloud City would be held in 3 days. And right now, Mine's top priority is to use the results of the Monster Core's examination to exchange for a pass token. He leaves the Hidden Abyss and contacts Di Mingju. That was the reason why Mu Yin did not wake Night Spirit up the moment the sky turned bright. Instead, she headed straight for the identity token exchange area. The exchange of the identity token went very smoothly. Mu Yin looks at the black token with the word demon written on it, and a smile appears on her face. She can finally see Di Mingju. According to the rules of the demon race, the identity token should be pinned to the chest. Mu Yin changes back into women's clothes, puts on an unremarkable makeup, and walks out of Cloud City. The demon's enchantment had 2 layers. The first layer was the barrier that enveloped the main city, mainly to prevent the invasion of magical beasts and vampires. As for the second layer, it was a gigantic barrier that covered the entire sky above the Hidden Abyss. In the past, without an identity token, one couldn't casually enter or exit the barrier of the main city or the Hidden Abyss. Just as Night Spirit had said, the main city's barrier would only be opened at a fixed time every month. As for the submerged abyss barrier, it wouldn't close for a long time. But this time, with the identity medallion, Mu Yin left Cloud City without a hitch. After leaving the city, she immediately flew up on her sword. The sky above the Hidden Abyss was shrouded in thick dark clouds all year round, blocking most of the sunlight. The light that they had sensed in the submerged abyss was actually the light emitted by the protective barrier, and it had a terrifying blood-red color to it. Seeing that the blood-red light is getting brighter and brighter, Mu Yin knows that she is about to reach the entrance of the Hidden Abyss. However, just as his body was about to pass through the blood-red light, an invisible resistance appeared. Mu Yin's entire body is sent flying. If it were not for the 7 absolute swords under his feet and the fact that the 7 absolute swords had a spirit, he would not have been able to escape. She had already fallen from the sky. With great difficulty, Mu Yin steadies herself and looks at the blood-red light, shield in bewilderment. What was going on? Yu Ying and Night Spirit had both mentioned that they could leave the Hidden Abyss as long as they wore their entry badges. Why was she bounced back? Who dares to leave the Hidden Abyss? Stay where you are and follow us to see the general. With a loud shout, a few silhouettes rushed over as fast as lightning. Mu Yin's face changed. Without thinking, she channeled her spiritual power and injected it into the 7 absolute sword. The 7 absolute swords received the order and immediately flew down as fast as lightning. Chapter 4089. In the blink of an eye, she had left those people behind. So fast. Who is that? The demons who rushed over lost their target and had to stop, their eyes full of surprise. Although it's far away, I can see that it should be a woman. Could it be the person that Lady Shui Gie ordered us to look for? Oh no, we can't let her escape. Looking at the direction she fled, it's no more than Chaogu, Songyong, Niaoyun. Those cities, we have to seal the city gates. No matter what, we must find this woman. Mu Yin hurried back to Niaoyun City and quietly returned to her room at the inn. After making sure that no one was following her, she breathed a sigh of relief. But she couldn't help but feel extremely anxious. The demons seemed to be catching a spy and had sealed the boundary of the Hidden Abyss. This was troublesome. She might not be able to get out of the Hidden Abyss in a short time. If she wanted to contact Di Mingju and her fellow apprentices, she could only go through Tianguang ruins. However, there was a premise. That was, she had enough ruin coins. Mu Yin pressed her forehead. Yu Ying's voice came from outside the room. Little Chun Chun, are you up? Mu Yin pretended to have just woken up and opened the door. When Yu Ying saw her lazy and charming appearance, her eyes couldn't help but light up, wishing that she could pounce on her. Really, little Chun Chun is getting more and more delicious. You can see but not eat. It's too cruel. Yu Ying ate the tofu with her eyes while handing the thing in her hand to Mu Yin. Here, this is your reward for winning the first place in Red Star City. Elder sister brought it for you. Mu Yin took it and stared blankly. What was this? A black piece of iron? Would this thing be worth selling? It would be better to just give her 100,000 mabe. As if she had seen through the ridicule in Mu Yan's heart, Yuing rolled her eyes and said, "Little Chinchun, which mountain corner did you come from? You don't even know about the best quality demonic tool, chaotic demonic change. Oh, I almost forgot, little Chinchun, you come from the one-star blood flame city. Isn't that a mountain corner? No wonder you are so ignorant and ill-informed. Mu Yan, don't think I won't fall out with you." Yuing smiled. The chaos demonic change is a good thing. This treasure was also known as the 10,000 Demons homing artifact. Whatever demonic tool you want, as long as you think about it and guide your divine sense into the chaotic demonic change, it will transform into the demonic tool you want. The higher the level of the chaotic demonic transformation, the more powerful the demonic artifact will be. The chaos demonic change in your hand is at the level of a top-grade demonic divine artifact. Once it's conjured, it's dozens of times more powerful than a human's divine king artifact. What do you think of this reward? Mu Yan slightly widens her eyes. It could actually transform into any magic tool. That was really amazing. Seeing the change in her expression, Yuing revealed a proud smile. All right, then I'll be leaving first. I'll come pick you up in 2 days. Don't go out these few days if you don't have anything to do. Little Chunchun, you're so handsome. If the demon Bloodguard thinks you're a girl and takes you away, I'll have to rescue you. Mayan stares blankly. Demon Bloodguard? That's right, it's Yoyue's Demon Bloodguard. But Yue is in charge of the 3rd team. Today, it's the 4th team. The person in charge is at the same level as Yue, called Wu Wu. This person is very sinister and likes to dig out people's hearts and livers. There are few humans in the hidden abyss, so he digs out the demons. The demons have magic cores, so they won't die immediately if their hearts and livers are dug out, but they suffer even more. In short, the captains of the Demon Bloodguard are all weirdos. Little Chunchun, stay away from them. Chapter 4090. Mu Yan's heart skipped a beat, and she said casually, "Shouldn't the Demon Bloodguards be in the Demon Imperial City? What was he doing in a 3-star main city like Cloud City? Is he a host like Yu? That's not it." Yuing said, "I heard that the Demon Bloodguards are here to capture a woman. They said that they will find that woman, even if they have to turn the entire city upside down. The Demon Bloodguards would rather kill the wrong person than miss the wrong person. They will capture and interrogate anyone who looks like a woman. Furthermore, they were under the direct command of Elderman Wei, and they only obeyed the orders of Demon Venerables and Elderman Wei. Even the 4 demon generals would not listen to them. If you kill someone in this small town during the mission, no one will look into it. So, little Chun-Chun, you must be careful. Don't get caught by them as a girl." Mayan's heart suddenly sinks. It can't be so coincidental, right? He had just broken into the submerged abyss boundary and was discovered, and Cloud Gale City was sealed? Were these people trying to capture her? Did he think she was a spy? When Yuing saw her face turn slightly pale, she couldn't help but giggle. "Little Chun-Chun, you don't have to worry too much. It wasn't just the Cloud City that was under martial law. The other major cities were also under the same treatment. Moreover, Lord Wu Jin is not in Cloud City now, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Hee. To put it bluntly, as long as you become the princess's son-in-law and seduce the princess, what would a mere Wu Yi amount to? When the time comes, you can do whatever you want to him." Mu Yin, the problem was that she, as a woman, had to find a way to seduce the princess. On this day, Mu Yin very obediently stayed in the inn, not taking a single step out. Since he had nothing better to do, he managed to raise his prestige in the Tianguang Ruins' devilish domain to 5th place. Mu Yin could clearly feel it. From a moment she entered the top 10, her opponents became stronger and stronger. The time required to fight a battle was also increasing. In the past, he would be able to quickly improve by 10 or 20 ranks if he spent 2 to 4 hours a day scrolling through the leaderboards. Today, she had spent the entire day in Tianguang Ruins, immersing herself in a bitter battle. In the end, she only managed to enter the top 4. It seemed like relying on the Tianguang Ruins to become rich was still too slow. She had to think of something else. Coming out of the Tianguang ruins, Mu Yin presses her somewhat swollen head. He suddenly took out the chaotic demonic change and fell in a deep thought. Just as Yu Ying had said, this thing was very precious. It would be a pity to sell it. But the problem was that he was in urgent need of money. It would be great if he could refine some pills and sell them. As for talismans, they didn't seem to be very popular among the demons. They didn't like to fight with magic like humans. Instead, they preferred to use their powerful bodies or weapons forged from the flesh of demonic beasts to fight head-on. Suddenly, Mayan's mind moves, and she injects her divine sense into the chaotic devil transformation. In the next moment, the small piece of iron in his hand began to gradually expand, slowly swelling into a ball. On the morning of the third day, Yu Ying comes to take Mayan to the competition venue. Seeing the dusty furnace that appeared out of nowhere in her room, he couldn't help but ask, "Little Chun-Chun, what is this? What else is burning inside? It smells really good." "Oh, this is an alchemy furnace," Mu Yin replied. "Alchemy furnace? What the hell is that?" Yu Ying was confused. Then she thought of something. "You mean the vessels used by that group of humans to refine pills? Where did you get this thing? Does the Cloud City sell this kind of trash?" Yes, in Yu Ying's eyes, this was trash. Chapter 4091. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find this site today. Do demons refine pills? Of course, but their method of alchemy is quite special. In the Demon Ridge, they choose a place where the heavenly fire is burning and throw the materials inside. If they're lucky, they can refine an elixir. If they're unlucky, the heavenly fire will explode and directly blow themselves up. Or they've already stored the pill fire inside their bodies. These are the demon pill masters that are sought after by the demons. Demon pill masters usually wear special magic devices, release pill fire on their palms, and then bake the materials on the fire. Yes, you're right. The so-called elixir of the demons is refined by their own hands. Their valiant bodies don't even need an alchemy furnace. And they look down on weak humans who need to use alchemy furnaces to refine elixirs. That's why Yu Ying says it's trash. Mu Yin smiles and calmly says, "I didn't buy this. It was transformed using the Chaos Demon transformation." The room falls into a strange silence. Again, say, once, this is, what is? Mu Yin coughs lightly. This is the Chaos Demon transformation. You son of a bitch who recklessly wastes natural resources. I'm going to kill you. Seeing Yu Ying pouncing over, Mu Yin calmly raises her hand and stuffs something into her mouth. Yu Ying is caught off guard and swallows it all at once. Cough, cough, cough. What did you give me to eat? Mu Yin, you'd better sit down and adjust your breathing. Adjust your breathing. The competition is about to start. We have to hurry, damn. Yu Ying's complexion suddenly changes. Clutching her chest, she reveals an incredulous expression. Why is my magic nucleus burning? Little Chun-Chun, what did you just give me to eat? Mu Yin unhurriedly says, I haven't named it yet, but it's probably a magic pill that can help you break through the bottleneck. However, the quality of this magic pill is average. You'll only need to adjust your breathing for half an hour at most before the devil chi inside is almost consumed. When that time comes, we'll still be able to make it. Yu Ying dumbfoundedly looked at Mu Yin and then looked at the alchemy furnace that was transformed by the chaotic demonic transformation. An unimaginable thought appeared in his mind. Don't tell me you used this furnace to refine these pills? Mu Yin nodded matter-of-factly. Otherwise, why would I waste the chaos demon change? Yu Ying swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked at the youth as if she was looking at a monster. She wanted to ask, how could a newly formed little demon like you know how to refine a devil pill? What's more, he used a human's alchemy furnace. But at this moment, the magic core in his body was spinning faster and faster. The surging energy from his limbs and bones began to rapidly converge toward the magic core. Heavens! She was actually about to break through. Yu Ying did not care about anything else, and quickly sat down cross-legged and began to harmonize with the circulation of the demon core. Muyin arrived at Night Spirit's room and gave her an elixir as well. As expected, refining a magic Dan was not easy. Muyin thought in melancholy. A single set of ingredients was only able to refine 5 devil pills. Because she didn't have the recipe for a devil pill, the elixirs that she just gave Ying and Night Spirit were all modified according to the recipe for the barrier-breaking pill. But its true effectiveness was far inferior to the barrier-breaking pill, and even slightly inferior to the barrier-breaking talisman. Of course, there was another very important reason. She still hadn't figured out a way to use Devil Chi to open the space of the Tian Mo Qin. Without the assistance of the Shun musician's skills, the effect of alchemy would naturally be greatly reduced. Chapter 4092. Due to certain reasons, a large number of users were unable to access this website. Please remember the domain name of this website and find your way home. But looking at Ying and Night Spirit's reactions, this demon pill should be worth some mabe, right? How can this be sold for mabe? Ying, who had just advanced a small realm, was going crazy. When she hurried to the Black Cloud Square, her footsteps were shaky. Her mind was filled with the young man's casual and even slightly dissatisfied expression. There are only 5 to 6 pills in one furnace, and it takes at least an hour to refine one furnace. The effect is so bad, what's there to be satisfied about? I have to think of a way to improve it. You asked what the pill is called. Whatever. How about Vigor Pill? What the hell is Vigor Pill? Ying wanted to scream hysterically. Do you know how precious a demon pill that can help a demon lord advance a small realm is? Does this kid know what he has done? Ying, what are you doing? Where's Liangchen? The person beside her called out to her, causing her to come back to her senses. The person who spoke was the female demon who was hosting the competition today, Lu Jing. Lu Jing's cultivation was 3 small realms higher than Ying's. She also led the champion all the way from a 1-star main city to a 3-star main city. The young male demon she supported was called Chu Xiao. He went through a bloody massacre in a 1-star main city, an absolute city, and a 2-star main city. In the end, he became the champion when no one thought highly of him. Just like how Ying thought highly of Yi Liangchen. Lu Jing also thought highly of this son-in-law candidate that she chose. Most importantly, Chu Xiao looked pretty good. Lu Jing saw that even though she had talked for a long time, Ying still had a distracted look on her face. She couldn't help but laugh. Don't tell me that the Yi Liangchen you supported knew that he wouldn't get a good result in a 3-star main city, so he chose to retreat? Saying this, she looked at Chu Xiao, who was on the magic crystal platform, with satisfaction. She didn't hide the praise in her voice. If I didn't go to a 1-star main city, I wouldn't have thought that there would be such a genius there. Most importantly, he wasn't arrogant or rash, and he didn't try to please the crowd. I don't expect him to become the leader of a 3-star city, but if there's anyone in a 1-star main city who can go the furthest, it's definitely Chu Xiao. Ying finally understood the hidden meaning behind her words. Her face darkened, and she snapped. Who are you accusing of playing to the gallery? My family's little Chunchen is very powerful and famous. So is he to be blamed? Weren't some people just not capable enough? Still bragging about not being arrogant or rash, being humble and low-key, my ass. What we demons believe in is arrogance and self-confidence. The strong are respected. Our little Chunchen has the strength, so why would he be low-key? If you're so capable, why don't you let that dog fart Chu Xiao do the same for me? Lu Jing's face darkened, and she clenched her fists. You want to fight? Ahem, Lord Lu. The competition is about to begin. Please activate the formation. Lu Jing snorted coldly. We'll settle this after the competition. But, sweeping a glance around the magic crystal platform, the corner of her mouth curled up slowly. The powerful and famous Yi Liangchen that you mentioned seems to not dare to participate in the competition today. As soon as she finished speaking, she saw a young man in a green robe slowly walking up from below the magic crystal platform. Almost at the moment when he appeared, the faces of the demons who were originally standing in 2s and 3s on the magic crystal platform changed instantly. Suddenly, as if they saw a ghost, they retreated to the side and squeezed into a corner. Chapter 4093. Due to certain reasons, a large number of users are suddenly unable to access this website. Dear readers, please remember the domain name of this website, the acronym +ordplus.com, and find your way home. Lu Jing was stunned. She was surprised to find that those hiding in the corner were all natives of the western district of Cloud City. The cultivation of these devils was usually very high, and they usually liked to fight and kill the most. Their bodies emitted a dense, baleful aura. As for those demons who had advanced from the two-star main city, although they tried their best to remain calm, they were still intimidated by their devil chi to the point that they could not breathe. All of them had pale faces and were trembling with fear. Even Chu Xiao, whom Lu Jing had always thought highly of, had retreated to a corner. Therefore, from the very beginning, Lu Jing was certain that Chu Xiao would never become the leader of a three-star main city. It was already very impressive for him to be able to reach this step. However, what happened now? Why were these valiant, bloodthirsty, and brutal devils all showing frightened expressions? The way they looked at the youth on the magic crystal platform was as if they were looking at a terrifying monster. After the young man stood still, his gaze swept around and finally landed on the group of devils who were huddled in the corner. Her beautiful lips slowly curled up, revealing a charming smile that could turn all living things upside down. I didn't expect that we would meet again so soon. No, we don't want to see you at all. 3 days ago, the demons who had just had their limbs chopped off and their intestines dug out were finally able to recover. Right now, they wanted nothing more than to hug their companions and cry. Although he already knew that Demon King Yi would definitely participate in the competition. But why were they so unlucky? He actually encountered the great Demon King in the first match. Mu Yin stretched lazily, his expression becoming more and more lazy as he slowly walked towards the group of trembling demons. Just nice. I'm also in a hurry today. Let's not dilly-dally and finish this quickly. She could also go back and improve the refining method of the vigor pill. Woo woo woo. The ferocious demons in the western district of the Dark Cloud City really wanted to cry on the spot for the great Demon King. He was in a hurry. He was in a hurry again. Would you die if you weren't in a hurry? Why is it that every time you're in a hurry, you have to make an example out of us? They were really weak, pitiful, and helpless. Suddenly, someone's knees buckled and he knelt on the ground with a plop. Demon King Yi, I, Luda, pledge my loyalty to you. After saying that, the brawny man kneeled on the ground and squeezed out an innocent and cute smile with great difficulty. Then, a green dot floats out from her chest, swaying as it floats in a mind's body. Mu Yan's face darkens. You're the great Demon King. Your whole family are great Demon Kings. It wasn't easy for her to get rid of the title of She-Devil, and now it was Demon King Yi again. Wasn't Guru Yi good enough? However, in the demon race, Great Demon King was really the best title. When Luda saw that the devil soul he swore his loyalty to was not rejected, he immediately grinned. That was great. If he pledged his loyalty to the Great Demon King, he definitely wouldn't hit him. When the others saw this, how could they fall behind? Thus, each of them knelt down faster than the other. Great Demon King Yi, me too. I also want to pledge my loyalty to you. I am more loyal to you. Great Demon King, how could it be your turn to fight in such a small competition? Just sit there and watch. We'll take care of these small fries for you, and then we'll obediently get out of here. What do you think about this? As a result, the black-faced Mu Yin was invited to the side by this group of cute and obedient demons from the Western District. There's even a demon who very excitedly stooped down in the shape of a chair, inviting her to sit on his back. In the end, Mu Yin kicked him away on his buttocks. Chapter 4094. Mine has just finished. This group of weak, pitiful, and helpless demons turn around and immediately reveal a sinister smile towards the remaining people on the magic crystal platform. Hee hee, you stinky trash. Are you going to obediently roll down, or are you going to wait for your father to tear you apart, and then kick your heads and magic cores down together? Some people are scared out of their wits on the spot, and they turn around and run down the magic crystal platform like a wisp of smoke. There are also some people who are unwilling, and they propose to fight alone. For example, Chushio, who has worked hard all the way from a one-star main city. The demons of the Western District really did send a representative to fight him alone. Chushio goes on stage full of confidence, but the result is cruel. It's already difficult for him to win in a 2-star main city, let alone a 3-star main city. The result is that his hand is torn off, and he is directly thrown down the magic crystal platform. After finishing off the trash, these cruel demons with bloody hands turn to look at the white-clothed youngster sitting on the side. The sinister expression on their faces gradually solidifies. The panic and fear in their eyes are simply tumbling. We didn't delay the great Demon King's time, did we? Boo-hoo, he won't divide us into 7 or 8 pieces again, right? What are you still wasting words for? Hurry up and get lost. You don't want to live anymore. Great Demon King Yi, then we'll take our leave. They see the youngster looking at them expressionlessly, not saying a word. These people are so scared that they almost scream out loud. They quickly kneel on the ground, and then more than 10 people roll down. Lu Jing, who is watching this competition from the sidelines, feels like her whole body is about to split apart. What the hell is going on here? She practically roars at Yu Ying. What did Yi Liangchen do? Yu Ying, this old lady also wants to know. In these 3 days that I don't know, what did little Chunchen do? But very quickly, she comes back to her senses. She raises her chin high towards Lu Jing and sneers. I'm really sorry, my little Chunshan wants to keep a low profile, but his fame is too great. So many people are kneeling and begging to give him the position of the champion. My little Chunshan really can't keep a low profile, even if he wanted to. This kind of pain of fame, some small fish that have already been eliminated won't understand. Lu Jing, she's pissed. Yu Ying rebuked Lu Jing without hesitation, as if she had everything under control. But as soon as she arrives at the inn and rushes into Mayan's room, her whole person goes crazy. Chunshan, what happened on the magic crystal platform just now? Why do the devils in Cloud Abyss City listen to you? Mu Yin feels dizzy from being shaken. After a long while, she holds Yu Ying's hand and says, 3 days ago, I made a trip to the Western District. Then, I was accidentally recognized. Then I was surrounded by them, so we beat them all up. Yu Ying's body swayed, and she felt a little dizzy. Little Chunshan, tell me honestly, how high is your cultivation? Mu Yin fishes out the magic core jade slip from his bosom and hands it to her. 5th Order Demon Lord? Yu Ying's voice suddenly rose in pitch, so sharp that it almost overturned the roof. Your cultivation level is higher than mine. Mayan smiles faintly. Little Chunshan, tell me, how many more secrets are you hiding from Big Sister? Night Spirit's face reveals a flustered expression as he looks at Mayan. She's afraid that Yi Liangchen's secret will be discovered. Yu Ying also notices Night Spirit's expression, and her expression suddenly becomes solemn. Chapter 4095. It turns out that this young boy really has a secret. That's right. How could such a talented young boy not have a secret? Which demon in the hidden abyss could reach the 5th rank of the demon lord at her age? And which demon could refine a vigorous pill that could help people advance? Bah, demon pill? Mu Yin pushes Yu Ying's hand away from her shoulder and says lightly, I'm not an ordinary demon raised by heaven. I've been living as a human for the past 20 years. You're a fallen evil. No, that's impossible. How could a fallen evil have such pure demonic energy? Mu Yin looks at Yu Ying's eyes and slowly answers her. I'm not a fallen evil. I should be the child of a demon raised by heaven. Just when Mu Yin shocked Yu Ying and Lu Jing to the point that their souls almost left their bodies, the name Yap Liangchun set off a huge uproar in the demon area of Tianguang ruins. Some time ago, Yap Liangchun suddenly disappeared after advancing to the 9th rank on the reputation ranking. Many people thought that this talented young demon had reached the end of his life. However, in just one day, he had slapped everyone in the face. Almost at the same time, the results of the first matchmaking contest in the Cloud City spread to Tianguang ruins. The demons, who were already boiling with excitement, suddenly burst into an uproar. All the demons in the 2-star main city submitted to him? Why did even the demons in the 3-star main city turn the matchmaking contest into a farce of little brother recognizing big brother? What kind of magic does this Yap Liangshan have? He's clearly just a little demon who hasn't transformed for a long time. But why is his strength like a bottomless pit? Why can't they see the bottom? On the screen of the 3-star main city in the demon area, Yap Liangshan's name is impressively high up, suppressing all the contestants from the 3-star main city. Even the screen of the overall ranking actually shows Yap Liangshan's name. One should know that a screen can only display 100 names. And how many Demon Lord level experts are there in the 4-star main city? An excessively young youth was actually able to defeat those Demon Master level experts. How can people not be shocked? Mu Yin just entered the Tingguang ruins. She hears a scream. Yap Liangshan is here. Ah, Yap Liangshan, I love you. Please let me pledge my loyalty to you. Yi Liangshan, may I ask why the demons in the Nebulous Cloud City were defeated without fighting? Did you do something? Yi Liangshan, help me exchange some mabe. I am also in the Cloud City. The corner of Mu Yan's mouth twitches. Looking at the dense mass of enthusiastic devils pouncing on him, he was so frightened that he turned around and ran. Damn it, there was something wrong with the style of the demons. Even when she was being sought after in Tingguang ruins, it wasn't this exaggerated. These devils were itching to pounce on her and eat her up. Mu Yin turned several times in a row before she managed to shake off the people behind her. Only then did she realize that she had actually arrived at the intersection of the limitless area and the demon area, as well as the central square. Thinking of the scene in the infernal region that made one's scalp tingle, Mu Yin decisively chose to go to the limitless area. At least there was no one here who could recognize her and wouldn't chase after her crazily. However, exchanging for the ruined crystal really couldn't be delayed. Mu Yin took out his information and looked at it. Chapter 4096. This was because he had climbed to the 5th place in the Demon Region's dueling arena. The exchange rate between her mabe and ruined crystals had already become 2-to-1. In other words, 10,000 mabe could be exchanged for 5,000 ruined crystals. This exchange price seemed acceptable. However, looking at the 10,000 mabe she had left, Mu Yin couldn't help but feel her heart ache. Should he increase his prestige a little more? Just as he was thinking about this, a commotion came from not far away. Don't go too far. So what if we bully you? Who asked this heavenly light ruins to be the territory of our nether realm? If you don't want to be bullied, ask your extreme domain's sovereign lord to come and back you up if you have the capabilities. Ha ha! A burst of mocking laughter caused the faces of the people on the other side to turn red, but they dared not say anything. Hearing them mention Di Mingju, Mu Yin can't help but take 2 steps forward. All right, since no one is bidding, I'll buy this item for 100 ruined crystals. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man with a hooked nose and a large mole at the corner of his mouth. He pointed at the 2 jade-green, crystal-clear grasses on his stall, and his face was full of pride. Recognizing the grass, Mu Yan's heart couldn't help but be happy. It turned out to be a rare top-grade immortal herb, Green Flame Sky Pistol. Mu Yin had heard from Little Nine's master that using the Green Flame Sky Pistol to refine pills could reconcile the conflict between immortal energy, devil energy, and even divine power, increasing the effect of the pills by several times. However, there was a high chance that the elixir would fail if it was mixed with the Green Flame Sky Pistol. Even a God King level alchemist would have almost no chance of success. But for Han Chujio, the Shengzhou Medicine King, this Qingyan Tian pistol is his dream. Unfortunately, this thing couldn't be sold for a high price and was extremely rare, hard to find in the world. Mayan really thought that she would actually see 2 of them in the Tingguang ruins. She didn't even think about it and hurriedly said, "Is this thing auctioned? I offer 1,000 ruined crystals." Being able to buy 2 Cyan Flame Sky pistol for 1,000 ruined crystals was simply too profitable. The stall owner was on the verge of tears. However, in the face of the aggressiveness of the people of the nether region, he had no choice but to compromise with a sullen face. However, before he could agree to the deal, he heard the youngster's voice. 1,000 ruined crystals. His original price was only 600 ruined crystals for 2 stalks. Since this young man was willing to pay 1,000 ruined crystals for it, wouldn't his urgent need be resolved? However, would the arrogant people of the nether region agree? The stall owner subconsciously looked at the youth, his eyes filled with panic, anxiety, and hesitation. The surrounding atmosphere suddenly became deathly silent. Haha, Brother Liu, I didn't expect there to be an idiot who dares to compete with us. Kid, did you just enter Tianguang ruins and don't know anything? Do you know the consequences of going against our Brother Liu? Mayan curls her lips up into a smile. She's just about to say, the highest bidder wins. It's only right and proper. Someone tugged at her and whispered in her ear, Little brother, please reconsider. Lu Hongzhuang and his group must not be provoked, or there will be endless trouble in the future. Muyin glanced at Brother Mole and asked in surprise, Why? The cultivation of these people didn't seem to be very high. The person who spoke revealed a wry smile. These people are the outer disciples of the Myriad sect. Although the Myriad sect can only be regarded as a second-rate sect in the nether region, they have been devoting themselves to managing the Myriad sect's forces in the Tianguang ruins for decades. Now, they can be regarded as one of the top forces in the nether region. Chapter 4097. Of the top 10 rankings of the nether region's dueling arenas, 5 belong to the Myriad sect. Of course, this didn't mean that the Myriad sect's members were the top experts of the Xiuxian continent. It was because not everyone was interested in coming to the Tianguang ruins to compete for such a ranking. Take the demon race, for example. Baileywaron's strength was obviously very high, but his name was not on the reputation list. The result of the Myriad sect monopolizing the reputation leaderboard is that they can challenge other users at will, and we can't even refuse. Little brother, you stole what LV Hongzhuang wanted to buy today. In the future, there will be an endless stream of experts from the Myriad Things sect coming to challenge you. In the end, you will be forced to the point where you can no longer stay in the Tianguang ruins. It is not worth it for this useless green flame sky pistol, Mu Yin said doubtfully. If they come to challenge you, you can also let the experts challenge them back. It's easier said than done. The person who spoke smiled bitterly. Tianguang ruins originally belonged to the Nether Domain Lord. The people of the Nether Domain naturally have an advantage here. As for us, the people of the Polar Domain, we can only be bullied. Who asked our Polar Domain to not have any major sects or great aristocratic families dare to enter the Tianguang ruins? Because it was the enemy's territory. Once the Polar Domain's great sects and aristocratic families entered the Tianguang ruins and were targeted, as the owner of the Tianguang ruins, he could casually find a reason to directly punish them. The strongest divine soul lightning punishment could even cripple an immortal king. Unless the Polar Domain's sects and aristocratic families were stupid, they wouldn't send their own elites to such a dangerous and unprofitable place. At the end of the day, Tianguang ruins was just a trading ground. For these geniuses who had ample resources since they were young, they were not indispensable. However, it was different for the disciples of small sects and rogue cultivators. Because of their birth, or because they worshipped the Polar Domain sovereign, or because their spiritual roots were inclined to cultivate the 9 glorious sun cultivation technique, they were unable to choose to join the Netherworld region. However, the resources they could obtain were too little. Only by trading in Tianguang ruins could they continue to improve their strength. Therefore, even though they knew that the people of the Polar Domain would be exploited after entering the Tianguang ruins, they had no choice but to do so. While this person is comforting Mayan, LV Hongzhuang and the others don't say anything. Instead, he looks at Mayan triumphantly, because they knew that so long as they understood the pros and cons, this kid would surely obediently avoid them. LV Hongzhuang was already used to bullying the Limitless region's spirit cultivators. This greatly satisfied his vanity. After listening to the narration of the people beside him, the young man nodded repeatedly. Finally, he smiled and said, "Thank you for your reminder, uncle." After saying that, he turned to look at the stall owner. 1,000 ruins crystals is still too little? I also feel that it's too little. How about this? I'll offer 1,200 ruin crystals for 2 green flame sky pistol. Is the stall owner willing to sell them? Hee hee, you've really given up. You decided not to purchase from the stall owner, right? LV Hongzhuang's face revealed a proud and understanding smile, and he was about to force the stall owner to complete the transaction immediately. However, when he realized what the young man had said, his expression did not change at all. What? Wasn't he not buying anymore? Instead, he was going to pay 1,200 ruin crystals? The smug smile on LV Hongzhuang's face could no longer be maintained. He suddenly steps forward, grabs Mayan by the collar, and angrily says, "Kid, do you know what you're doing?" Chapter 4098. Due to unknown reasons, Sogu is suddenly unable to find the site today. The corners of Mu Yan's mouth slowly hooked up, and she said unhurriedly, "I remember that apart from the dueling arena in Tianguang Ruins, users are not allowed to attack each other, right? Aren't you afraid that Tianguang Ruins will punish you?" "Punishment, my ass. Don't you know that this Heavenlight Ruins is the territory of our nether realm?" Before he could finish, a bolt of lightning fell from the sky. It directly struck LV Hongzhuang's head. His whole body quivered, and his hair exploded, emitting a cloud of black smoke. His entire face contorted in pain, and saliva dripped down from the corner of his mouth. Brother Liu, are you all right?" The lackeys behind Lu Hongzhuang hurriedly supported him. It took him a long time to regain his composure. He glared at Mu Yan in bewilderment and resentment, his words somewhat stuttering. Good. The people of the Boundless region also knew that they had some backbone. Tui, even a yellow-haired brat dared to be so arrogant. Since you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, don't blame me for being impolite. Mayan doesn't even bother to look at him as she straightens her clothes. He turned around and looked at the stall owner. 1,200 ruin crystals. Are you selling? Sell. But little brother, Mu Yin chuckled. Then wait for me for a moment. I'll head to the central area to exchange some ruin crystals. Stinking brat, how dare you ignore me? Mu Yin raises her eyebrows. Get lost. A good dog doesn't block the way, or do you want to feel the taste of lightning again? LV Hongzhuang's face stiffened. Mu Yin has already bypassed him and went straight to the central area. A moment later, she spent all the 10,000 mabe she had on her to exchange for 5,000 ruin crystals. But when he walked back to the Everlasting District, he found that the stall owner was already surrounded by people. Little brother, run. That's right, quickly retreat from the Tianguang Ruins. It's not too late to retreat now. Mu Yin stares blankly, turning her head to meet LV Hongzhuang's sinister and resentful eyes. But this time, the one who spoke was not Lu Hongzhuang, but a young man standing in front of him. His chin was slightly raised, his face filled with pride and arrogance as he walked in front of Mu Yin. He casually cupped his hands and said, I am Xian Jiqiang of the Myriad Sect. May I know your name? Mu Yin hooks up her lips. If you have something to say, say it. You don't dare to tell us your name. Are you afraid that we will challenge you if we know your name? Lu Hongzhuang, who was standing to the side, immediately laughed out loud. Kid, don't you know that our Myriad Appearance sect has high-grade tools in the Tianguang Ruins? As long as we want to, we can find out your identity and background anytime and anywhere. High-grade tools? What was that? Without waiting for Mu Yin to react, Xian Jiqiang had already formed a seal with his hands, and a white ball of light floated towards Mu Yin, entering her body. Above her head, there were 3 words that everyone could see. Yap Liangshun. Yap Liangshun? Why does this name sound so familiar? Xian Jiqiang muttered softly, but immediately threw it to the back of his mind. With a carefree expression, he said arrogantly, My Myriad sect is a great and prestigious sect. We have our own ways to recuperate, and we don't want to bicker with a brat like you. How about this? You kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistake, and this matter will be over. The onlookers heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the one who came this time was Xian Jiqiang, who had a better temper. If it was someone else from a myriad sect, this little brother wouldn't have escaped so easily. Lu Hongzhuang, who was standing to the side, was a little dissatisfied. That brat caused him to be punished by the Tingguang ruins, and he still wanted to take revenge. How could kowtowing to beg for mercy appease his anger? However, he didn't dare to go against Xian Jiqiang's intentions, and could only glare at Mu Yan. Chapter 4099. Just when everyone thought that the immature youth would lower his head to Xian Jiqiang and beg for mercy. Instead, she casually walked in front of the stall owner and swiped her ruined crystals over with a thought. 1,200 ruined crystals. Keep it well. I'll be taking these 2 green flame sky pistol. Since the transaction was successful, the originally untouchable green flame sky pistol was automatically unsealed. Mu Yin smilingly picked up the 2 immortal herbs and kept them in the Jade Void Key. She didn't even look at Xian Jiqiang once. This time, Xian Jiqiang's face completely darkened. Lu Hongzhuang, on the other hand, was wild with joy. He originally thought that he couldn't take revenge, but who knew that this kid would be so stupid to court his own death? Then he can't be blamed later. After buying the green flame sky pistol, Mu Yin turned to leave. Stop! Xian Jiqiang's voice was sharp and stern. His eyes no longer had the calmness from before. Only fierceness remained. Yiliang-chun, I, Xian Jiqiang, challenge you to a duel. As soon as he finished speaking, an invisible force spread out in the market. The surrounding spectators were instantly teleported several dozen meters away. Even the stalls that were originally set up in the surroundings automatically moved backwards. With Mu Yin and Xian Jiqiang as the center, the market directly emptied out an empty space. The Limitless District spirit cultivators all paled. They looked at Mu Yin with concern and sympathy. I really didn't expect that the Myriad sect would choose to duel on the spot. Sigh, if it was in the duel arena, with all sorts of rules and restrictions, they wouldn't be able to be ruthless. But in this bazaar, little brother, you're in trouble. It's still not too late to leave Heavenlight Ruins, but now it's too late. But what did little brother do wrong? He's just trading the green flame sky pistol normally. The highest bidder wins. Isn't that a matter of course? Sigh, who asked our Limitless District to be weak? So what if we're bullied? The stall owner was the most worried at this moment. He had obtained far more ruined crystals than he expected. But the youth who helped him was now facing such a desperate situation. The stall owner clenched his hands and made up his mind. If Xian Jiqiang wanted to punish the youth after winning. Thus, he took out a portion of the 1,200 ruined crystals he had obtained, hoping that it would appease their anger. After making up his mind, the stall owner took 2 steps forward, ready to loudly plead to the Wanwu sect. However, his voice had yet to leave his mouth. It was a loud bang. Accompanied by a scream, a figure smashed toward him like a cannonball. The stall owner was so frightened that he quickly turned his head and dodged. However, the arena was protected by Tingguang ruins. Therefore, when the figure was about to smash in front of him, it was bounced back by the light shield and fell heavily to the ground. The groan of pain was close at hand. This familiar voice gave the stall owner an unbelievable thought. He turned his head again, stiffly and slowly, and looked down slowly. Xian Jiqiang's face was contorted in pain, and it was right under his feet. Wait a minute. What happened just now? Was he dreaming, or was he hallucinating? This thought appeared in the minds of almost everyone present. There was dead silence. Following Xian Jiqiang's painful groan, an incomparably handsome youth with fluttering white clothes slowly walked forward, the transparent longsword in his hand emitting a faintly discernible radiance. He muttered to himself, "This still doesn't determine the end of the duel? Then should I try chopping off his hands and feet, or dig out his heart?" Chapter 4100. Xian Jiqiang, who had just struggled to get up from the ground, almost fainted when he heard this. When he saw the sword in the young man's hand swing again, he turned around in horror and scrambled out of the protective shield. He screamed, "I admit defeat. I admit defeat. Remove the light shield. Quickly remove the light shield. Let me out, ah!" However, Tianguang Ruins seemed to be stuck at this moment. The shield flickered, but it didn't let him go. The smiling youth walked closer and closer, and the sword in his hand slashed towards his neck. Xian Jiqiang's bladder tightened, and a warm current flowed down from between his legs. At the same time, his snot and tears also flowed down. The pungent stench made the onlookers retreat, covering their faces and frowning. Just as it was about to cut Xian Jiqiang's throat, the shield finally shattered and disappeared. Xian Jiqiang's knees softened, and he knelt on his own urine. Aren't our souls in Tianguang Ruins? Why can we pee? This is the first time I've seen someone pee in his pants in Tianguang Ruins. Ha ha! Who is this youth? Although Xian Jiqiang isn't a top expert in the Wanwu sect, he's still on the reputation leaderboard of the Nether region. But he couldn't even take one move from this youth, and he even peed his pants. Puffed. Yap Liang Chun? Have you seen this name on the reputation leaderboard of the Wuji region? No, me neither. But for some reason, I feel that the name Yap Liang Chun sounds familiar. Now that you mention it, I also feel that it sounds familiar. I seem to have heard it somewhere before. Amidst the laughter and discussion, Xian Jiqiang finally changed his clothes and cleaned up the traces on his body. Tianguang Ruins wasn't reality after all, so even if no one wiped the urine stain, it would disappear after a while. But Xian Jiqiang's embarrassing appearance would forever remain in everyone's heart, and he became the laughingstock and topic of discussion in the Wuji region. Xian Jiqiang's face flushed red. His eyes are firmly fixed on Mu Yin, resentment, shame, and also fear. When Mu Yin looked at him, his entire body trembled, and he instinctively wanted to turn around and run. Xian Jiqiang was not strong in the All Things sect, but he had a powerful backer. His grandfather was the great elder of the All Things sect. His achievements today were almost completely piled up by his grandfather. He was arrogant and vain, but he had never faced true death. So, just now, he was really scared by Mu Yin to the point of peeing. He opened his mouth, wanted to say a few harsh words. However, the young man opposite him said with a smile, "What? The duel just now wasn't enough. Do you want me to start another one? Let's have a good fight at this old place." Xian Jiqiang, he was so scared that he almost peed his pants again. He shook his head like a rattle drum, not daring to say anything more. Mu Yin shakes her head with some regret. She did not expect that the reward for winning a duel would be so high. It was much more profitable than the reputation leaderboard that she had to painstakingly grind for. Unfortunately, there was a limit to the amount of ruin crystals he had to pay for the duel. Otherwise, she would just find people to challenge every day. Mu Yin leaves with a perfectly contented heart. Meanwhile, the group of people from the All Things sect fled back to the Nether region angrily and pathetically. After both parties left, the market in the Wuji region instantly exploded. The name, Yap Liang Chun, began to spread wildly in the market. Chapter 4101. Have you heard? A super awesome god has appeared in our limitless district. With just one move, he defeated an expert on the prestige list of the Nether district. I heard that the expert is from the Wanwu sect. Hee, you guys don't know anything. Let me tell you, I was at the scene. You guys didn't see that Xian Jiqiang from the Wanwu sect peed himself. Ha ha, he really peed himself. We almost died of laughter. I was wondering why the people from the Wanwu sect didn't come to our limitless district to plunder. It turns out that they lost all their face here. Ha ha. Let's see how arrogant they can be in front of us in the future. Yi Liangqin, have you guys heard of this name before? When did our limitless district have such a god? How come I've never heard of him before? Who cares? Anyway, I only know that our god Yi beat the grandson of the Wanwu sect until he peed his pants. Ha ha. The limitless district of Tianguang Ruins had been sullen for too long. They needed a hero to lead them out of their current predicament. The sudden appearance of this youth, whose identity and background were unknown, was equivalent to giving them a ray of hope. Mu Yin didn't know that her name had spread all over the limitless area just because she bought 2 green flame sky pistol plants in the limitless area. In the next few days, the competition in Cloud City was just like a repeat of the first day. The demons in the Western District kneeled when they saw Yi Liangchen. After that, they became Mu Yan's lackeys. They cleaned up the other participating demons and then obediently rolled off the magic crystal platform. Lu Jing, who was in disbelief at the beginning and doubted the demon's life, became calm and composed later. She could announce that Yi Liangchen was the final winner without batting an eyelid. It only took a few days. As for Yuing, ever since Yuing knew that Mu Yin was the son of a rare heaven-raised demon, she couldn't wait to worship him like an ancestor. She was more and more confident that this youngster could become the princess husband. This was a rare and precious natural demon's son, and he was already at the 5th stage of the demon master at such a young age. Such a high quality, it should be enough to be matched with the princess. If it was her, she would even be a pendant on little Qinchin's body. Mu Yin had been busy refining magic pills for the past few days. Today, when he returned to Tingguang Ruins, he was not in a hurry to go to the dueling arena, nor did he buy a mask to cover his face. Instead, he went to find the district manager of the Devil Domain. Yap Liangchen, you are Yap Liangchen. Do you know how much I love you? I've used all of my ruined crystals to bet on your victory. The district supervisor was an ordinary-looking evil woman with an extremely enchanting figure. When she saw Yap Liangchen, she immediately shouted excitedly. His eyes were glued to her body. The corner of Mu Yan's mouth twitched. She avoided the person pouncing on her without a trace and coughed lightly. I want to rent a shop. I wonder what my requirements are. Of course, other people have their own requirements. But little Chun, you're different. As long as you let this servant take a whiff, this servant will even pay the rent for you. Mayan expressionlessly reaches out and pushes him away. If you can't rent it, then forget it. Annoying. I'm just joking with you. Chun, don't be angry. Compared to the difficulty she had in selling talismans in the cultivation continent, it was like heaven and earth. This should be considered a celebrity effect, right? Just like back then, when the most handsome man in the world stood up for his store, countless people immediately swarmed in. The smile on Mu Yan's face darkens. Deep sorrow and pain flowed from the bottom of his eyes. In this world, there was no longer a little martial uncle who would spoil the 7 of them and let them do whatever they wanted, but would protect them at the most crucial moment. In this world, there was no longer the number 1 swordsman and number 1 handsome man, young Master Yin Shao, who could be pursued by millions of men and women. Mu Yan's mood suddenly becomes very bad. At this moment, she didn't want to do anything but find someone to fight. However, she had yet to do the proper business, so she could only endure it. Mu Yin came to the Limitless District intending to make an announcement. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.